Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I want to welcome all of you to another edition of the Afridamus Report. Please make sure you hit the like. Let me see who's in here. Dwayne said 45 carat people gonna shut this stream down. Supergirl, welcome in the house. Well, as you guys can see, like last time I said, I'm gonna stick to a different topic, black people topic. But you know what? We have to talk about what is trending and also, things that are happening in the world. Because whatever you see, there's a reason behind it. And this Israeli, conflict, when you look at it from what exactly happened as far as Hamas goes, right? When you look at it at just that lens and you don't know the history, you would go with the narrative that is being presented, and you would easily take sides. But this stream is not about, picking sides whatsoever. But since, what we are seeing, the world right now, if you look at it, you, me, and everybody, we are all a witness to what is taking place. I hope you guys know this. Because many people used to say, if they were alive in the 1940s, for instance, or during slavery, or during apartheid, people would say, oh, I would have done something. But here's the thing. The state that they call Israel have been quote unquote in existence for 75 years. They celebrated this. So to me, when you say we've been in existence in X amount of years, people immigrated there, that would mean that there were people there before. So whatever meaning is given to this group of people, regardless, they were humans there. Because let's look at it in the past, even us as Africans, we are a people who experience colonialism. Our brothers and sisters in South Africa, they did not only experience colonialism, they experienced what they call apartheid. and go look up the meaning of apartheid. Meaning, two groups of people, you are all in the same territory, but they don't have the same rules, don't apply to all of you. So back in the days in South Africa, so the blacks are the majority, as you know, and it is the black people's country. The white Dutch settlers came there around 1620. But there is white people who are saying that, in fact, the blacks, the blacks came there. The white people said they own this place. They justified it, right? And we've had countries, even the United States, they supported the apartheid regime. Today, governments that we see as civilized, the Western countries, all of them supported the occupation of South Africa by force. This is not even hidden. So today, in the place they call Palestine, one can say truly, if you have common sense, not what the media, mainstream media, is feeding you. See, I want you guys to look at it from a different lens, different point of view. Don't go by what is being popularized, because you see today people don't read books. So slowly the history is disappearing, because they said if you tell a lie too many times, it becomes truth. This was used in Germany, Nazi German propaganda, and I'm seeing that. So we're going to have an opportunity to analyze a video by the Israeli Prime Minister. He did this interview 10 months ago, and what was said in the United Nations. Folks, when you listen to this interview, you will begin to think, wait a minute, is this a setup? You know how, you are Debo, for instance, and you're bigger and stronger than this individual. Because here's the truth. I don't care what anyone says. However you label Hamas, remember, Hamas has only been in existence for 20 years or so. This occupation was since 1948. So the Israel-Hamas problem, Hamas is not the problem here, because the problem came before the existence of Hamas. So therefore, however you quote this land, just like in South Africa, remember when the Dutch settlers created their laws and tried to confine black people in shanty little towns, it did not work, ladies and gentlemen. Because when you push a group of people to the wall, they would fight back. Why are they willing to shed blood for that land? And how can Israel exist? They would have to wipe them all out. They would have to wipe them all out. If you look at the current prime minister of Israel, the current prime minister, he was once a soldier in the Israeli army. His brother died in the war. So he is true to this. He believes this land is theirs. So we would have an opportunity to hear from him 10 months ago and what he said in the United Nations. And you pay close attention. If you put two and two together, just the same thing they're accusing Hamas of, because you see the Hamas people, they are part of the land that is occupied. Do not forget that. This is just the name of their group, but they are the people who are put in. It's an open prison. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. Is the world's largest open prison. Because if you look at what is happening right now, That should tell you that. Yes, I get it. People are going to get sentimental and say, what about what Hamas did? Yes, we saw that. But Palestinians are human beings too. People were talking about babies that died in Israel. Are we not seeing babies die in Gaza? Are we not seeing how they are dropping bombs on women, children, and babies? And then this Western media, they come out to all of us. And these people are supposed to be the example of civilization. But now, to me, the things I'm hearing, is the same as South Africa. It's like they're giving themselves license to be able to wipe these people out. They are dehumanizing them, trying to make them insignificant. We're seeing it. You're even seeing celebrities, American celebrities, blacks, white, all colors. They are retweeting, supporting, which could be the clear genocide of a group of people, ethnic cleansing. So, this interview and what Netanyahu said in the United Nations, I believe, and you also will see that, this was set up. It was propped up. They wanted this to happen. So they believe it's just like 9/11, where there's a big question mark. Now, when they wanted Saddam, right? None of the hijackers were from Iraq. In fact, they were Saudi citizens, according to what was said. But where did they drop the bombs at? You're right, Iraq, because that's who they wanted out. So when they went in there, they said he had bombs, dirty bombs. They found, they knew all along there wasn't any, but they wanted Saddam's head on the plate. Remember, that's when George Bush was saying, they cut the tape. He was talking about he wanted to kill my father. When in fact, his father went in the first time for the Gulf War, all based in lies, where they were saying that they had babies in the Iraqis were putting babies in microwaves. You guys remember that? Which all turned out to be lies, right? They went to Iraq, no weapons. Then they flip it and change it to saying Operation Iraqi Freedom. So the whole thing is all laid out and planned out. So let me play this video. Actually, let me show you what George Bush, former US president, said. Okay. George Bush is someone that many people, they said, like politicians, they distance themselves from the Iraq war. They said it was a mistake. It was based in lies. So you would think, okay, they killed innocent Iraqi children, so George Bush would stay far away from it, right? But not anything that have to do with, deleting babies, women, and children. But you're going to see different. The same voices that spoke, that supported the South Africans to be under apartheid, is the same voices that support what is happening to the Palestinians. But let me do my fair usage, and I'll show you what George Bush said and what Netanyahu said, what preceded to what happened before this war. I want you guys are going to hear it out of the Israeli Prime Minister's own mouth, and you can use your own common sense, do your own research, and see if those who are fighting words. Let me do my fair use here. Here we go. All right. So let me set this up for you. So George Bush, guys, clearly, you know, these people have no problem wiping these people out. Here we go. Let's hear George W. Bush.
Beautiful place. Our hearts are in Israel. We saw clips of you rallying the nation after the worst terrorist strike on American soil. I wonder what were your thoughts when you heard that Israel was attacked by Hamas over the weekend?
My thoughts were that we need to support Israel. No ands, ifs, or buts. This was an unprovoked attack by terrorist people willing to kill innocent people to achieve an objective. Hamas is a political organization. They do not reflect the majority of the Palestinians.
So he's saying Hamas is a political group, which is true. They do not represent the whole of Palestine. But why are they dropping bombs and telling these Palestinians we're giving them warning, they have to leave and go where are they gonna go?
And don't be surprised if Israel takes whatever action is necessary to defend herself. And it's going to be ugly for a while, but it's tough.
So meaning they're gonna go in there, they're gonna drop bombs on women, babies, children, you name it. Even though not everyone there supports Hamas, but they all have to suffer collective punishment.
It's tough. And I hope and pretty confident the United States will stand squarely with Israel. You know, going in the neighborhoods of Gaza is going to be tough. And, you know, he's got a very seasoned military, but they just called up 300,000 reservists. Most of them probably can't fire a rifle. And to the extent they'd be put in harm's way, it's going to be awfully difficult on the prime minister. But he's got to do what he's got to do. I mean, you're dealing with cold-blooded killers. And you can make all kinds of excuses why they are, but they are. And his job is to protect this country. And anyway.
So you guys hear that, right? So you have to give yourself the justification to be able to do whatever you deem necessary to unto any, because once they declare you as non-human, they put the X on your back, it's over. So let me show you. It's just a short little clip. What, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, his speech in the United Nations, which even, right after that, this was just 3 weeks ago. The following week, this conflict, kicked out. Let me show you here.
A few years ago, I stood here with a red marker to show the curse, a great curse, the curse of a nuclear Iran. But today I bring this marker to show a great blessing, the blessing of a new Middle East between Israel, Saudi Arabia, and our other neighbors. We will not only bring down barriers between Israel and our neighbors, we'll build a new corridor of peace and prosperity that connects Asia through the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, to Europe. This is an extraordinary change, a monumental change, another pivot of history. But I also believe that we must not give the Palestinians a veto over new peace treaties with Arab states. Sanctions must be snapped back. And above all, Iran must face a credible nuclear threat.
All right. So guys, you see that speech. short little speech with the map, what he's showing, he's like, look, pretty much he's saying Israel, because they used to talk about the, two-state solution. So now it's a one-state solution. So this is what they call ethnic cleansing. So the option, if you're a Palestinian, that you have is from now on, you guys are going to be sucked in part of Israel, or option B, you can vote yourself onto these other Arab countries, either Egypt or Jordan, one of these Arab countries, or C, get deleted. So let me show you this interview that Benjamin Netanyahu did 10 months ago with Jordan Peterson, and the history he gave is completely different from what you, me, and most people that actually read books know to be true. So, but maybe it's another history. Here we go.
There's no soundbite quality or editing to it. You just get the unvarnished, the unvarnished words of someone who's in a position to make decisions that affect all of us. And so I'm very excited about this. I'll read the bio and then we'll go on to the interview. Benjamin Netanyahu, as I said, was recently reelected as Prime Minister of Israel, having previously served in the office from 1996 to 1999 and 2009 to 2021. From 1967 to 1972, he served as a soldier and commander in safety.
So this is interview with Jordan Peterson. That's who you're seeing, and pay attention to the interview here. I would cut in every now and again, but I'll let it play as we go. American Rifleman, thank you for the $5 super chat. He said America has always been cool with genocide. Thank you for that super chat. All right. Let me go right back to the video here.
Here at Matkal, an elite special forces unit of the Israel Defense Forces. A graduate of MIT, he served as Israel's ambassador to the UN from 84 to 88, before being elected to the Israeli parliament as a member of the Likud party in 1988. He has published 5 previous books on terrorism and Israel's quest for peace and security. He lives in Jerusalem with his wife, Sarah. In his newest book, Bibi, My Story, the newly re-elected prime minister tells the story of his family, his people, his path to leadership, and his unceasing commitment to defending his country and securing its future. Hello, Prime Minister Netanyahu. Thank you very much for agreeing to talk to me tonight. I've been reading your book, your new book, Bibi, My Story, and it weaves an interesting personal tale, familial tale, and political cultural tale all together. And there is one particular element of it I wanted to begin discussing with you that's, I think, of broad interest. One of the things I realized when I was reading was just how ignorant I am in some fundamental sense about the history of the development of the Jewish state of Israel. And I know that there's tremendous constant noise about issues as fundamental as Israel's right to exist even. And you start by talking about, in your book, you embark on explaining that, at least in some part, by talking about Herzl and his...
So, guys, this interview here, pay attention. This is a very, very interesting interview because you're hearing straight from, out of the mouth of the Israeli prime minister. And we would have, I'll take the time here and analyze the things he's saying. We're going to critique some of the things he's saying or agree or disagree. Because you see, I noticed like with the, West, especially in the white media and even in the United States Congress, if you look at it, these people, they seem like 1 minute, you guys remember the woke revolutionaries and the quote unquote, conservatives, how these people were fighting each other. You would think, they are about to take up arms with each other. But guess what they are united on? They are united on Gaza getting bombed. And of course, the stock, market for the military industrial complex is through the roof, you see. So in other words, it's business, and this is how they make money, and they united. This is one thing in a long time that they agreed on, and also sending money to Ukraine. But this is another thing that they all agree, which is, hey, it's like wink wink, wink wink, hey, check this out. These quote unquote Palestinians do not have full human rights. We can just shut off their electricity, we can bomb them, and we own the media. We can get our celebrities to tweet, we can, because for instance, if you watch CNN and all this other media, mostly you cannot blame American people, because if they don't know the history of this region, and many people only read the headlines. Okay, if the news gives you this information and you don't know anything other than what they are telling you, how can you disagree? What would you base it off of? Now, that's where the Afridamus report comes into play, to show you, hey, there is another perspective. Can you flip the coin and look on the other side of the coin as well? Don't just go along with what you're being fed. So here we go.
Terror that anti-Semitism, that the rise of anti-Semitism in Europe was going to cause a catastrophe, which was obviously a justified terror. Would you be kind enough to walk me and my viewers and listeners through your rationale for the moral justification for Israel, the political justification as well? And I'm going to do what I can to my limited ability, let's say, to push back. I've heard the arguments of often young people who are more prone to give credence and sympathy, say, to the Palestinian viewpoint. And I'd like to rectify my ignorance and maybe help my viewers and listeners do the same thing. So would it be useful to start with Herzl?
Well, I'd start, Herzl was what I call our modern Moses, but I'd actually start with the original Moses. The Jewish people have lived in the land of Israel, what is now the state of Israel, have lived here and have been attached to this place for about 3,500 years, 3.5 millennia. Now, for the first 2 millennia, roughly, of that time, we were...
So he's going biblical. He's going biblical. But what's going to make this interesting is, even if he goes biblical, you would find the Palestinians in there. So this is interesting.
Living in what is described in a text commonly known as the Bible. So the Bible describes how the Jewish people lived on this land, were attached to this land, fought off conquerors, sometimes were conquered, but stayed on their land. And that continued for a very long time, until roughly the 7th century, actually, after the birth of Christ, okay? For roughly 2,000 years. We were conquered by the Romans, we were conquered by the Byzantines. They did a lot of bad things to us, but they didn't really exile us, contrary to what people think, okay? The loss of our land actually occurred when the Arab conquest took place in the 7th century. The Arabs burst out from Arabia, and they did something that no other conqueror, not the Romans.
So the Arabs, he's saying, they own this land for 3,000 years. They got conquered by many groups. So now the Arabs came and conquered them. So he's going to tell us that the Palestinians were the conquerors. Here we go.
Romans, not the Byzantines, not the Greeks before them, not Alexander the Great. Nobody did before. They actually started taking over the land of the Jewish farmer. They brought in military colonies that took over the land. And gradually, over the next 2 centuries, the Jews became a minority in our land. So it is under the Arab conquest that the Jews lost their homeland. The Arabs were the colonials. The Jews were the natives dispossessed. Well, that happens in history.
Did you guys hear that? So the Arabs are in fact the colonialists. Yes, the Arabs were the colonialists. This is what the Israeli Prime Minister just told us. Here we go.
Jews were dispossessed. We were flung to the far corners of the earth, suffered unimaginable suffering because we had no homeland. But we didn't disappear, and we never gave up the dream of coming back to our ancestral homeland. So generation after generation, The Jews could be in Warsaw, they could be in Yemen, they could be in China. And they said, next year in Jerusalem, we'll come back next year in Jerusalem.
So you notice, so this rule only works for this particular state. Do you guys remember then the same when they're gonna go to Uganda? Oh yeah, DiCaprio, exactly. DiCaprio just mentioned it, before I hit it. So Uganda, at one point, was the place seen in the dreams. Okay, if you go and check out the Balfour Treaty, when you go check it out, it doesn't match what he is saying here. You see? Let me see some of these here. Snowflake's Nightmare said, notice it's the same people who claim to have been persecuted and genocided who now are demanding persecution and genocide of an entire population. And if you question this, you are anti-Semitic. Nope, exactly. DiCaprio said, I thought Israel was in Uganda. Guys, some of you that are reading this, you would think DiCaprio is just joking. No, he is serious. He's not joking. This is in fact true. We are not joking. This is real. Uganda used, before this Palestine Middle East thing, it was gonna be Uganda. Snowflake said they've been ran out of 100 countries. Habibi says this is what the Bantus wish they could do to North Africa and the Horn. All right, so here we go. Let us continue.
Well, that was made possible because the Arabs who had conquered the land basically left it barren. They never made it their own. It was a barren land. It really it was an empty land. And in the 19th century, the idea of coming back next year in Jerusalem became a reality. By the way, in part because of Christian Zionist support for the idea of the Great Return. The Jews came back.
So he said the land was empty. The Arabs didn't do anything with it. So they were there for however long. How did they survive? But okay, let's hear. Then the Jews came back
in the 19th century to the land of Israel. The result of this return was that we started building farms, factories, places of employment. Arabs from nearby countries started immigrating, and they called themselves Palestinians. They reconstructed history and said, we've been here for centuries. No, they haven't. They weren't there at all, and they didn't have.
Guys, he is double speaking here. He said they got conquered in the 7th century by the Arabs, the Arab Muslims. So that would mean they were on that land. How can they be on the land, conquered the land, right? But at the same time, in the 19th century, they came and the land was empty. They built factories and then the Arabs started coming in to live there. Like, does the prime minister realize that there is documentaries? Literally, there's footages in 1948 about this very discussion to set up the state called Israel. There is literally, documentaries about this. Habibi said the idea that the land was barren isn't true. In fact, during Ottoman rule, the West Bank and surrounding areas was used for farming produce. Exactly. This is Habibi. Seems like he read books. He is 100% correct. And Habibi, have you noticed how he skipped past the Ottoman rule? He skipped past, the British colonization. He skipped past all those. He just said the land was empty. They came, they built on it, and then the Arabs in the neighboring countries started coming in. Guys, where else did you hear this story? This story sounds awfully familiar. That's right, you guessed it. South Africa. You guys remember? The white people came and the land was empty. They built it, and then these dirty-foot Bantus started coming in. Some of them wandered all the way from Nigeria to what the white man built. Little did they know they were predicting what is to come in the future. They willed the Nigerians to South Africa. But you see, they wanted to tell that story, to pass it on from generation upon generation, right? So they can brainwash the upcoming Black South Africans. Because if they can brainwash enough of them to believe that no, in fact, they are just settlers. Their ancestors came from neighboring countries, so then they wouldn't have the spirit to fight for their land. So here we go. Let us continue.
Have a national consciousness. We came back, made it our land, and we said, okay, we will live together. We decided to establish a state in 1948. That's 75 years ago. And we said, everybody can live here. The Arabs said, there can't be a Jewish state. You have no right to be here. It's our land. It's not your land. It's been our land for 3,500 years. If you took over somebody's apartment, knocked them out, dispossessed them, and they never gave up the claim. They said, it's our claim. And you left this barren dump. Okay,
guys, so you see the logic he's using? You notice the logic? So he's saying that this land is their land for 3,500 years. The very Bible he's quoting, the Palestinians are in that very book. David and Goliath's fight, that story, Goliath is a Palestinian. It's right there in the book. The Philistines is right there. So, if he is going to quote a certain book, if he's going to quote it, we can't just, shoot past the other team, because you see, the technique he's using here, fortunately for all of us, in these Bible stories, there are two sides, always. David wasn't just fighting the air. They said Goliath was a Philistine. So, what, did he come from Cairo? Oh, he was one of the Arabs that came for work, right? No, he lived there. Okay? So, let's continue.
Okay, and the families, the progeny of the people you kicked out came back, rebuilt the house. You cannot come back and tell them you don't belong here. We're going to kick you out, especially since you're latecomers who've come to live in part of the house, which is what the so-called Palestinians are. Okay, we say to them, you can live here, we can live here, but it's our land, it's our state. And the reason this conflict continues is because the Palestinians, who represent the colonial powers, the Arab conquest of the Middle East and beyond, they're saying, you have no right for a Jewish state. Well, we do. If any people has any right to a state, if any people never gave up their dreams of returning to their ancestral home, if any people rebuilt their home from nothing, from barren, wasted land, it's the Jewish people. To tell them, you have suffered more than anyone else. You have never lost your dream of coming back and rebuilding your national life in your ancestral homeland. You have no right to be there. But the Arabs who are trying to destroy you, they have that right. That is a complete perversion of history, and also a complete perversion of justice. The Jews belong to this land belongs to the Jews.
Wow, guys, this is very, very interesting. Very interesting. Habibi said, the Afridamas, most of the early Yahoo boy migrants from Europe in the late 1940s and early 1950s did so by purchasing small plots from Palestinian nobles who were living in Turkey. Yes, exactly. Zongo said, Afridamus, Jews have also been in the region too, according to the books of the Muslims. The question is, do they have a right to claim a land, the region, just as the Palestinians? Well, Zongo, you tell me. What do you think? So, okay, if we go by his logic, He said, was my ancestral land. My people were here. They got conquered. The native Indians in America were conquered. Should they be able to use all type of force now and take their land back? According to Netanyahu, these people should be able to do that too. Okay. If you, like he said, you take the barren land and build it from ground up, you see how this is colonizer type of talk, people. This is what colonizers said. Then they said they were civilizing the native Africans. Even the stories I was just telling about Niger. We have even one colonizer mindset black here, Zongo, who went to colonial school, who even believed that it is justified for the French to be able to take land in Niger because, quote unquote, the Nigerians wouldn't do anything with it. Let's just keep it real. So you heard the prime minister use the same logic. He's like, we built the place from ground up. There was nothing there. Oh, so for instance, if I have my little plot of land, you know, your dream is to build skyscrapers, but you don't have land to build it on. So just because, you know, I didn't build skyscrapers on my land, that doesn't mean there's nothing there. You might not see my little house as something, but it is something to me. You see how these people think? They don't care about the human on the land, as you can see what is happening. And the world is going along with it.
The Palestinians are free to live here next to us, among us, but they're not free to demand the dissolution of the Jewish state. That is not justice. That is injustice. That's the shortest lecture I can give you about Jewish history.
In today's world, we sometimes lose sight of the Judeo-Christian beliefs that built our society. This is why it is so important to study scripture and develop a dedicated prayer life. There's no better way.
Palestine was a verdant land in the 19th century, teeming with the Palestine.
So, again, he used the Bible, but he keeps trying to make Palestine like this open land where there was no humans. They came there. Okay.
Palestinians until the Jews came in, took it over and threw it out. Okay, well, that's what Arafat effectively said in his infamous speech in the United Nations, blaming Zionism, equating Zionism with racism. Well, there's only one problem with that. He said that the Jewish invasion of this verdant Palestinian homeland happened in 1881, okay? The problem with that is that 12 years before, a famous visitor, among hundreds of visitors, named Mark Twain, visited the Holy Land. And he describes a totally different picture. He describes Palestine, I'm quoting him, is a vast wasteland. He said, only imagination can grace this barren land with the pomp of circumstance. And
guys, so Mark Twain, an American writer, Westerner. So you see, even the colonization of the Congo, African nations today that we see, isn't it people like Mark Twain, some white person, Westerner, who goes there and romanticize the place and write it in the way they feel like in their own Western sensibilities to justify coming there and taking it to make it theirs. So maybe he is also misinterpreting what Mark Twain is trying to say. But either way, I'm pretty sure Mark Twain didn't find the land empty. That's for damn sure. That's why he was there. It was in an empty forest or this barren land, because what he's doing, he's painting a picture for you to look at these people like savages if they were there, but he touched on the biblical story, but he didn't continue with it. So here we go.
Life. It's just, he said, we traveled for a whole day. We didn't see, in the Galilee, we didn't see a human being, one single human being. He said, Jerusalem sits in sackcloth and ashes. And as he was saying that, it's the Jewish return that began building the land. Well, perhaps one could argue it's obvious that Mark Twain was not in the service of the Jewish state because it didn't exist. He wasn't in the service of the Jewish lobby because there wasn't any Jewish lobby. He was just reporting what was there. Could there possibly have been a tremendous influx of Palestinians between 1869 and 1881, the year that Arafat says the Jewish invasion began and destroyed the Palestinian paradise? Well, alas, no, because in the year 1881, another famous visitor visits Israel, and he visits this land, and he writes also his memoirs. Okay, his name was Arthur Penrhyn Stanley. He was a very famous courtier of Queen Victoria's court. Okay, and he came here on a special visit.
So, how is he not talking about this during this time? This land. So he's just quoting Western writers. This is why people like Jordan Peterson and other people that, yeah, they might be smart. They use logic, but they can be very dishonest, intellectually dishonest. Because the years that the Prime Minister is quoting here, Palestine was under British colonialism. So the British did not go there and just, colonize an empty land. They colonized human beings on that land. They were humans. That's why those humans are fighting you today. They existed. So what he's trying to do is he's painting the picture that Westerners are used to. Because you see, even in the eras when they went into Africa, when they were bringing in, people from Congo and putting them in human zoos, quote unquote, in exhibitions, they had to prop up the population, because Western understanding and sensibility is still not the same as the rest of the world, how they see other people. I'm not saying all, but majority is by what the media feeds them. It's completely different. So that's who he is, pandering to. So this is nothing based in truth. It's about emotions. So here we go.
And he says, I look south and I look north. He says, I'm in Judea and I see nothing. He says, a barren expanse. And they both express, both Twain and Arthur Penrhyn Stanley say the same thing. When will the Jews come back and bring this land to life? And the answer is right then. We came back, brought it back to life. There were Arabs living here, but it was, as I say, a barren wasteland. But Arabs began to immigrate naturally because we created a rise in the standard of living that attracted Arabs from neighboring states. Those Arabs are now the descendants of those Arabs who migrated as a result of the Jewish return. Many of them now are considered Palestinians. So what I'm saying, and I'm saying this to you, Jordan, and to your audience, there has been a complete fabrication of history. It's the biggest lie of the big lies that have permeated the 20th century and the 21st century, is to say that the Arabs were here before, that is, the Palestinians were here before the Jews, when we were here for thousands of years, that we are the colonials, when in fact it was the Arabs who were the colonials who dispossessed the original nation.
Guys, did you hear this again? So, again, he skipped almost an entire century. He skipped that part because, guys, remember, he said the Arabs came in the 7th century and colonized them. And then he also spoke about the land being barren. He talked about when Mark Twain came in there. So now the question should be, fine, they said the people were immigrating. He said these Arabs immigrated there in the 19th century. How many of them came? Where did they come from? How did so many of them come into that country to where they are like, hey, this is our land, we're gonna fight? Guys, do you see what is happening here? You have to listen carefully to what he's saying. There's too many gaps in between. He said people are telling, false history, saying that they are the colonizers, but it's the other way around. The white people in South Africa, the people that colonized the blacks there before and created their, apartheid government, they were telling the same story. So imagine if the blacks had gone along with it. That system wouldn't end. So the Palestinians are not crazy. So if he's saying they came from neighboring countries, he should name those countries and deport them back there. We know exactly what they are doing in this current situation is to displace more of them so they can get scattered into Egypt, Jordan, and they want to empty the Gaza Strip and lock it down again. We see it, but here we go.
Natives, and that is the Jews, that we came back to this land that was laid barren by the Arab conquest, brought it back to life, and allowed Arab immigration, what we call now Palestinian immigration, to come back in. And now they say to us, in unimaginable chutzpah, they say, you don't belong here. They recreate ancient history, they recreate modern history, and this is a lot of hokum. It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
Well, so, some of it also seems to be, I would say, technically speaking, something like a time frame problem, right? I mean, you said the Arabs came in the 7th century, and that's a long time ago. And so from the 7th century to now, you might think of that as being a time frame long enough to allow for a valid claim of sovereignty ownership. But the Jews' rejoinder is, well, we have a much older claim than that, one that spans 3,500 years. And the problem I have with that conceptually, and then I'll get to some other issues that are relevant to this, is that it's not exactly obvious what time frame of analysis should be primary.
You have a
guys, he's playing with our minds. He's playing with our minds. Okay, this is mental gymnastics. He's told too many, I don't know at this point if they're theories, but the first theory was they were there since biblical days, right? Then the next step was, right? The next step, the Muslims came in the 7th century and conquered the land. Then the land, it was like barren. It was, nothing there. They came, they built it, and the Arabs started coming. And guys, this fight has been going on since 1948 when they set up this state. And we all know Israel today did not get built up until, these few later years. So how did these people that the Israel government have power over, they all of a sudden have their military, they are able to subjugate these people? How did a group of people who have no weapons, who can stand up against you, just get up and say, look, the land is ours, we are going to, take it, you leave our land? That's not how it usually goes. We usually see it the other way around. The people who are being accused of not belonging there, stealing the land, have to protect themselves with guns. We see this. We saw it in South Africa. We saw it in Zimbabwe. We saw it all over, wherever, this type of stuff happened. We've seen it too many times in history. I'm just saying. Here we go.
And I don't really know how to solve that.
I do,
Yeah,
and I'll answer your question. It's a valid question. If the Arabs, having conquered the land in the 7th century and dispossessed the Jews over the next 2 centuries, the Jewish farmers kicked them out and so on, if they establish a viable state, a viable national identity there and so on, you're right. These things happen in history. You're supplanted by other people, fine. But that's not what happened. The Arab conquerors themselves were replaced by other. First of all, they did nothing with the land. It's just barren. They actually built one town. It's called Ramleh. That's it. Hundreds and hundreds of Jewish biblical sites and hundreds and thousands of new sites that we built. The Arabs built one place, one town called Ramleh. That's it. So they did nothing with the land. Then they were replaced.
So first, the land was empty. They didn't do anything with the land. So they only built one city. Guys, are you seeing what's happening? So does this mean in the future, for instance, the very near future, you can just literally, match, let's say, to a place like the Congo, because there is plenty of areas in the Congo that's not developed. They didn't do anything with it. So you can just walk there and annex it and make it yours. You see? Because, you know, I mean, those people in that region, in that Congo, they're not doing anything with that land. They only, you know, plant, they only farm, you know, cassavas or whatever. They're not really doing anything with it. You can go take it and build skyscrapers on it, and it will become yours.
By other conquerors. Other conquerors came in. The Mamluks, the Ottomans, ultimately the British, a series of conquerors. In other words, they took over the land, lost the land, and did nothing with the land. So if they had done what you say, if they had created, if that house that we were expelled from was taken over by another people, another family, they built a family there, they had children, grandchildren, they extended the porch, they built the parking garage, and so on, it's gone. What can you do? You still have the ability to demand reclamations, compensation, and so on. But you know, tough luck. That happens in history. But that's not what happened.
Good question. He said, who did the Palestinians steal the land from? I like that question. According to the prime minister, the account he gave, these people they call the Palestinians, apparently they didn't steal the land. They 1 minute they colonized it, another minute they came after the Jews built it. They came from neighboring countries. That's the account. So, yeah, the story he's telling us is these people are just, these are immigrants, illegal immigrants that came and settled on that land. So 1 minute they're colonizers, another minute they're, illegal immigrants. So, I mean, it's awfully weird how they are the only country that their people look way different from the rest of their neighbors. But okay.
Once the Jews were conquered by the Arabs did nothing with it, lost the land to others. Now we come back and bring it back to life 13 centuries later and perform this miracle. And they fabricate a history where we were there all the time. It was a verdant homeland. It was built up. It was nothing of the kind. It was desert. It was nothing. Now, it's not merely Mark Twain and Arthur Penryn Stanley who say that. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of travelogues over the centuries of famous French poets, of Swiss travelers, of German theologians, everybody, of poets, writers, travelers, who describe exactly the same thing. There was nothing there. There was no Palestinian state. There were no Palestinians. They didn't even, the Arabs even didn't call themselves that. They were calling themselves parts of southern Syria, whatever. There was no national consciousness. There was nothing to form the consciousness about. In the 20th century, the Arab world and the Palestinians and their supporters in the West, among the intellectual elites, basically erased history and recreated a fake history.
Guys, so this was 10 months ago. He was talking, he did this interview when they just elected him 10 months ago. So imagine you're Palestinian. They are sitting there listening to this. Imagine that. So here we go.
Fake history that deracinates the Jewish roots that are unparalleled. There is no other story in the history of nations where people fought for so long for their land, for 2,000 years, were dispossessed from it, came back to it, did not kick out an existing population with a national consciousness, rebuilt the land, and now are being told you have no connections to it. You were, you're the colonials. No, we're not. We're not just to give this. Just to give us a fine point, because this is so crucial, what we're discussing. And I discuss it at considerable length in my book because people...
Guys, does Jordan Peterson know history, or he's just playing along? Like, what's going on? Have you noticed, like, in the West, people that say they are smart intellectuals, when it comes to this type of topics, all of a sudden, they just go along? But, I mean, I'm sure Jordan Peterson knows the history. Like, what is he doing? Okay.
People are so ignorant of history. We are not the Belgians in the Congo. We're not the Dutch in Indonesia. Okay?
He said they are not the the Belgians in Congo. You are worse than the Belgians in Congo. You see how he knows exactly who they are the same as. See, because a lot of you believe that because you went to some school and now TV is telling you, and now your country has a flag and a national day, they say, oh, your Independence Day, now people are free. Colonialism, apartheid, all that is over. Pay attention. Pay close attention. And especially if you're watching, pay close attention to what you're listening to here. Don't just go by what they tell you.
We're not the British in South Africa. We had been there all the time. We had been in the Congo. We had been, if you will, the equivalent in Indonesia. We were kicked out of the Congo and nothing happened in the Congo. Nothing. No other people there, no development, nothing. Okay? Now we come back to our land, build it up, enable immigration from Arabs, who are now called Palestinians, from neighboring lands, and they tell us, oh, you don't belong here, you dispossessed us. This is essentially what Arab propaganda.
So he said they are the indigenous people of that land. It's not like the situation where the white man, the Belgians, came to the Congo and colonized it, and the black Congolese were the natives. He said no. He said they are the natives of that land. They got kicked out. All this while they came back, the land was still empty. The people didn't build anything. They came back and took it. Which one is it? Were they on the land, they didn't do anything with it, and you came and took it? Oh, it was empty. You came, you built it, and they immigrated in. Guys, have you noticed his story is not straight? I can't even believe he's the prime minister. I mean, come on, man. Here we go. I mean, he can't get his story straight. But he believes that American audience would just go along. Because I hate to say it, but most Americans just believe in, colonizing other people. They would deny it to, up front, but they support that kind of stuff. Just look at the wars they support, how they would shame you if you don't go along with it. And then years later, they would be totally against it. Oh, we are sorry. But maybe you should have listened to the other people too. So here we go.
And Palestinian propaganda is done. And what I labored, not only in the present book, my own history, Bibi My Story, but in the previous book, A Place Among the Nations, to debunk. And you know what? The interesting thing is this, so far, it's quite amazing. No fact that I put forward in any of these books has ever been challenged. Not one. Usually, when people, Place Among the Nations, my previous book, answering much of the questions that you asked, usually polemical books are challenged.
Like, come on, Mr. Prime Minister. He said none of his books were challenged. Do you think that proves that he's telling the truth? We know your books are not going to get challenged, because let's look at who are the people that actually challenge the books. How come, they are the only, like him, they are the only people are not allowed to openly criticize or challenge. So of course we are not surprised that none of the books you wrote were challenged, and everything you're saying, we are not surprised it's not challenged. Guys, if they flip the person sitting in front of Jordan Peterson and it's a Palestinian, do you think the conversation would go this way? Hell no. It's not going to go this way. Jordan Peterson is going to question him every step of the way. Every step of the way. So, a lot of these people you're seeing, don't you now think you should be questioning them? Questioning what type of agenda they are pushing? Are these people about fairness? Or are they biased? Are all people equal as far as they are concerned, or some people are more equal than others? Which one is it? Who is allowed to? So are Palestinians allowed to tell their history? Let's just tell the fact. Are they allowed to tell their history? Would a Palestinian be allowed to tell their history in front of Jordan Peterson? Probably not. So here we go.
You know, the critics, and in my case, critics from the left, they'd find, you know, some straggler, some factoid that is wrong, some formulation that is unfortunate, and so on. Okay, nothing. Nobody ever challenged it. It got, in those days, rave reviews from the New York Times, from great writers like Connor Cruz O'Brien and Paul Johnson and others. These are great writers, and it wasn't challenged. Okay, my current book has not been challenged on the historical facts. Nothing. People can argue about my opinions, but they don't argue about my facts. Try to be very rigorous about the facts. This whole attack on the Jewish people's right to live in the Jewish homeland, the attempt to erase the Bible and to erase the history after the Bible and to create a modern fantasy that doesn't exist, based on the Palestinians who want to destroy us, who support terror.
He looked to the left before he said that one. Have you guys noticed? He's giggling a lot, laughing. He's like, I can't believe they're buying into this bullshit. Oh, they're buying into this BS. I mean, of course, they're Americans. All you got to do is make them feel smart. You know, like say, oh, they say something about some book. They think all of a sudden, you know, like, how can one be so book smart, super book smart, but be so ignorant about reality? Like, are they doing it on purpose? And then they would tell you, they will make you feel dumb because, you know, they're saying, no, what you know to be true in those books is not real. What you saw is not real. So it's best you look at it openly. Don't say you're on this side or that side, but you have to be balanced. Here we go.
Who are anti-democratic, or or basically neo-colonials, because they're really the colonials. That is something that I think has. It's not merely folly. It has something fundamentally wrong morally, because it is both untrue and unjust.
He's not even
Shopify is the
convertible.
all-in-one commerce platform trusted by millions of entrepreneurs to create their online store and so much more.
Okay, so the claim so far, if I'm going to say lean in the direction of your argument without leaning too far and too obviously, I would say it's something like this, and tell me if I've got it right. There's a host of competing claims to the territory that now constitutes Israel, and you could have some debate about, perhaps technically, about which of those claims should reign supreme. The additional case that you make, however, is that the Israelis, the Jews, have done a tremendous amount of work in improving this territory. And I know there's a principle of ownership in Western common law.
So, so guys, this is wild. So Jordan Peterson, you know, like, here's the thing. So mind you, like, he's going to apply Western common law, right? So if you come and, like, you steal my hoopty, you know, and pimp it out. For those of you that don't live in America, meaning my old car, my old beat up car, like, you found it, you came, it's parked in front of my house, and you steal my car. You go and pimp it out, fix it up, and then I find my car. So are you telling, like, now you laying claim to the car that you stole, and you're telling me how you pimped it out? Like, sir, you stole my car. You stole my car. I didn't put it, like, you are a criminal at that point. I didn't tell you to do that. So he, like I said, he's saying too many things. He said they built the land, so therefore it's theirs. So the white people in South Africa, they built the land nice. but that doesn't make it theirs. So here we go.
In English common law, and I'm not a lawyer, so I may muck this up to some degree, but I understand the principle. If you own territory, a vast swath of land, and you're doing nothing to it, and someone comes and squats on it and spends a lot of time improving it, at some point they actually develop a valid legal claim to the property itself. And so there seems to be something intrinsic to our notion of valid ownership, that if you're going to occupy a territory, you actually have to do something with it that's productive. And so that's at least part of the claim you're making at the moment, to buttress the notion that the Jewish people have a valid claim to the present territory.
Well, and
there were a lot of movement back and forth,
yes,
but the Jews have actually taken the land. And
guys, did you hear this question? He is asking him, okay, the argument. So if you come to a land that the people that are there, they didn't do anything with the land, you should be able to take the land. If you build it, it become yours. That's pretty much what he is saying. Let's hear this out.
Made something of it.
Well, I'm saying something else, though. I'm saying that they held the land for 2,000 years, were kicked out. The Arabs came and conquered it and immediately lost it to others and did nothing with it. The others did nothing with it. So it was basically, they took over my apartment, okay, a long time ago.
You see how he quickly, guys, sorry. You see how he quickly just went past that? He said, oh, the Arabs conquered it and they lost it quickly. Who did they lose it to? Guys, you notice it's only the Arabs, you know, where they came from is what is vague, which is the Palestinians. When he talks about them, their story, where they came from is vague. It's just neighboring countries. And he said they conquered the place and then they quickly lost it. But who did they lose it to? He's not telling us that. So here we go.
Yeah. The guys who took over, who basically kicked me out, were kicked out themselves. The apartment was left barren, and many decades, in this case centuries later, I come back to this barren mess, okay, this ruin, and I build it up back, and I not only improve it, I not only make my ownership based on improvement, but that nobody else did anything with it. There was no someone else. There practically were no tenants.
Right.
That's my argument.
Right. You're also making the case that when the Jews came to Israel.
So you guys heard it. You heard it. So he is saying, hey, the Arabs conquered it, right? And someone else came and conquered the Arabs. And then the land was empty. Who are those people? Who were those people that conquered these said Arabs? And when they conquered them, where did the Arabs go? And where did the conquerors that conquered the Arabs? They just what? They just conquered the land and the Arabs poof, disappeared, and then the conquerors disappeared for centuries and the land was just laying there empty, and then they showed up. Guys, this is some type of Hollywood movie, man. I'm completely confused by the history we know to be true about this region. Like, what's going on? So this is 10 months ago. This is what, before this fight that you're seeing, yeah, this type of talk. He came to the US. He gave this interview. Interesting. So here we go.
They were doing what they could to coexist with the people who were there, with a sparse number of people who were there, but also to set up a state that would invite other people who weren't Jewish to live there as well. So it wasn't an oppressive regime in any sense.
Well, we know what happened.
Sense of the word.
We know what happened. We know that when 75 years ago, when the state of Israel was declared, you didn't have a single Arab refugee. I mean, the Arabs say now that their enmity to Israel and the reason they went to war with Israel was because of the Arab refugee. But there wasn't a single Arab refugee or Palestinian refugee when Israel was established. In fact, the refugees are the result of Arab aggression and not its cause. And in fact, the Arab onslaught.
Guys, okay, look. There were Arab refugees right away. Like, okay, I get it. They said Jordan Peterson is smart, you know, but I mean, come on, like, what the hell? I mean, Oh, come on. Why is this? Why is the prime minister trying to play us, man? Why is he trying to play us? Look, I didn't want to say anything, but that's some BS. I mean, he completely BSing. This is in fact not true. I would fact check him on this. This is not true, man. I know I was trying to take it, I allowed all those gaps in the centuries, and then he brought us to 1948 where we got tapes. I mean, come on, man. We literally got YouTubers back then. What are you talking about? Is the prime minister gonna make me go search in the archives and bring out these tapes? Is that what he's trying to do to me? Come on. This man just literally sat here and told us there was no Arab refugees around 1948 because your state was set up in 1948, and right after that the refugee crisis started because there was conflict. There are literally Palestinians who have been displaced, about that long. So what is he talking about? But here we go.
5 Arab armies that attacked the tiny Jewish state in its inception. These 5 Arab armies created 2 refugee problems. One, the Palestinian refugees who fled before the advancing armies, being promised that they could come back in a few days because the Jews would be annihilated, driven to the sea. That didn't work out, thank God. But in those 5 Arab states, there lived many Jews. Those Jews were summarily kicked out after our war of independence. So the Arab onslaught on Israel, on Israel's inception, produced 2 refugee problems. One, Palestinian refugees, Arab refugees, we call them Palestinians. And the second is Jewish refugees. Now, Israel, with less than 1% of the total landmass of the Arab states, takes in the same number of refugees, Jewish refugees, as you had Palestinian refugees. You don't see them here. They're integrated into our society, into our government, into business, into everything. We solved, without the cornucopia of Arab oil, we solved our refugee problem caused by the Arab onslaught on Israel. The Palestinian refugee problem is kept alive by the Arabs that have 100 times more land, infinite oil resources. They keep it alive as a battering ram to produce exactly the propaganda that you say. So basically what the technique of Arab propaganda has been, and I describe it to some extent in my biography too, because you have to understand it, you have to see it to believe it, is to turn the results of Arab aggression against Israel into its cause. They first did that with the refugees when Israel was established. They then didn't accept Israel's right to exist, even though we're a tiny country. They tried.
So guys, this is interesting. This is interesting. So imagine if the Palestinians, the people that are fighting for their liberation struggle, how can they be able to engage him in this if this is what he believes and that's what he's saying? So it will be kind of hard, like if there weren't tapes, if there weren't books written, documents, then sure he could have pulled this off, but I don't know. Let's just enjoy it.
Tried to attack us again 19 years later and destroy us. That's called the 6-Day Wars. In 6 days, we pushed back the Arab countries and took over our ancestral lands of Judea, Samaria. And again, what the Arabs did is exactly the same thing. They said that our occupation, our so-called occupation of the heartland of the Jewish people, Judea and Samaria, that produced the war. No, that didn't produce the war. It was the result of their attempt, their second attempt to annihilate us. So this technique of reversing causality, that is accusing Israel, basically turning the results of Arab aggression into its cause, is again one of these ways of creating the delegitimization of Israel. The reason we have not had peace with the Palestinians is not because of the Arab refugees. There weren't any when they attacked us. The reason is not the territories. We didn't control these territories. They were in Arab hands before the 6-Day War. All of these things are a result of the Arab aggression. And what is the cause of the Arab aggression? It's the persistent Arab refusal to accept a Jewish state in any boundary in our ancestral homeland. And if you remove that, you get peace. Now, how do we know that we get peace? Because this persistent Arab refusal has dissipated. It's dissipated over time. It's the strength of Israel.
Guys, the link is in the chat. Hit the link and come through. I mean, from what you've heard, who do you think is the original owners of the land? Do you think this quote-unquote Palestine was empty? These Arabs are just not refugees, illegal immigrants that came to and occupy that land. And yeah, and also, is the prime minister here? Do you think the prime minister is telling the truth? So hit that link, come through. All right, here we go.
As I describe in my book, as Israel becomes not merely a fact, but a permanent fact in the Middle East, so they know they can't get rid of it. So Arab countries begin to make peace with us. And I had the privilege, which I describe again in my book, of forging 4 Arab peace agreements, 4 peace agreements with Arab states, because that barrier, that obstacle of refusing to accept a Jewish state at any boundary has disappeared. Where does it persist? In the Palestinians, who are 1 to 2% of the entire Arab world, wagging the, it's the tail.
Because the Palestinians, why would they accept being treated different on their own land? So you're gonna punish them because they don't accept it? So this is crazy.
Wagging the dog, or they tried until recently. They were quite successful in wagging the dog. Palestinians, cling on to the fantasy of eliminating Israel, denying us our historical and present rights to live anywhere in this land, refusing to any kind of...
Exactly. So, snowflakes, you see exactly what he's doing here. He is pimping that book. So, and he told us the reason why he's pimping it. It is meant for propaganda, to brainwash people. Because, look at it. Who do you know? Like, people even criticize Jesus. Think about that. Even God. But he writes a book, nobody criticizes his book. And it's 2023. What the hell? Okay, let's go.
Practical compromise, refusing to accept the declaration of Israel in the UN, the partition resolution. We did, they refused. Refusing any kind of realistic negotiation for peace. What has happened, and here's what happened, Jordan. For the last quarter of a century, after the initial peace treaties with Egypt and Jordan, for 25 years we had no peace treaties with any Arab country, because the elites, the foreign policy elites, and...
Very interesting. Let me bring in a caller. All right, Nilotic, welcome to the Afridamus Report. Are you there?
Can you hear me, Afridamus?
I can hear you loud and clear. Nilotic, what do you think about is the Prime Minister telling the truth? Who are the original true owners, indigenous to that land? Is the Prime Minister telling us the truth, or there is another facts that you know? The floor is yours.
Abidamas, look, first of all, let's just acknowledge that interview. That wasn't a real interview. That was just some propaganda piece.
Right.
I'm sure they paid Jordan Peterson. Like, Jordan Peterson already has a fan base that is pro-Israel anyway. So that was just like a layup. Like when the interviewer already agrees with you, he's going to give you softball questions. He's not going... Because if that was, like you said, if that was a Palestinian on Jordan Peterson's show, that guy would not be able to finish one sentence without Jordan Peterson constantly interrupting him.
It would be...
You can just tell. He first said they got chased out in the 7th century.
Yes.
Okay, they got chased out in the 7th century. Let's just take that as fact. Because even before the current Jews came, there were already Palestinian Jews there already. So it's not like all of them got chased out. But let's just take his word for it. And by the way, the Ashkenazi Jews that he originates from, Netanyahu originates from, those people never originated from Palestine. So I don't even know what he's talking about when he says they got chased out.
They came from Eastern Europe.
Central European. Exactly, they're Central European or Eastern, depending on how you classify that region. They came from that region. So I don't know when he got chased out of that region, because he has no claim to Palestine or anything. But the second part is, he said, okay, you got chased out. Then he jumped 1,000 years, and then he went 1,100 years and went to the 18th century. And then he said, oh, we came back.
Oh, wait,
So wait.
I'm surprised.
1,000 years.
I'm surprised you were able to keep up. I'm surprised you were able to keep up. But again, okay, he said they got chased, right? Kicked out. The Arabs kicked them out.
the Arabs also got kicked out, but he didn't tell us who kicked the Arabs out.
Exactly. Thank you, Afidamas. You know, this is the funny part. Most of the Jewish immigration, not immigration, but emigration, like leaving with the E, happened because of the Byzantine Empire invading that region.
Right.
That is the part he won't tell you about. Because around that time, when he said the immigration happened, it actually happened even before the 7th century. It happened around between the 4th to 7th century. It happened gradually. And that was during Roman rule. Not Western Roman, but the Byzantines were East Roman. So what is he talking about? Like, this history doesn't make sense. So it's full of lies. But at the end of the day, you know what the truth is? Whatever bullshit history you come up with, if you have the guns to back it up, that's going to be the history at the end of the day. Like, we can come here, we can say he's lying, so Palestinians can cry and tell their history and say and disprove him all they want. At the end of the day, he has the nuclear weapons, he has the guns, he can do whatever he wants.
He's got the media.
So
he's got the media.
Yeah, he has Western support. So at the end of the day, none of what we're saying is true. But just to rebut what he's saying, so I'm not delusional. I'm not saying that if we debunk him, then things are going to change because he has the gun. So no amount of historical revisionism or challenging his historical revisionism is ever going to change the ground situation.
Now, Lord, what I'm confused about, there's a guy here who's we're talking about the history between Palestinian and Israel. He's saying y'all mad because the people y'all sold is doing better than you. Why is
I think he's a Hebrew Israelite.
All right, we got Zongo in the house. Zongo, welcome to the Afridamus Report.
Yo, Afridamus, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. So, Zongo, let me ask you this question. You heard the Israeli Prime Minister. So, do you think they are the rightful owners of that land? And, his history is the accurate history, or a different type of history? The floor is yours.
Well, I don't think. I mean, I'm not gonna act like I have an extensive knowledge of the people in that region, right? But from the account of like what I've studied from the religious perspective, right? I mean, you do hear like the Jews like
Which religious perspective?
I mean, either biblical or the Islam or something.
But did you not see how he skipped and refused to mention the Palestinians in the book?
I mean, because obviously he's in there to project his narrative, right?
No, but if you're gonna take the historical account, right, of that book, I mean, you have to tell all the characters that are in the book. You can't just talk about present your character and leave the other character out when we all know those characters exist too.
Yeah, I mean, Afrodamus, when you go to the court and you present your case, you don't speak for the defendants, do you? Right? You're gonna speak for yourself, and the same thing applies to for the Palestinians when they speak. Because I've been in the midst of Muslims, and when they speak, they rarely speak about the Israelis, right? So it kind of makes sense to me as a third person looking from the outside, right? But the point I'm trying to say is that I think the problem. I mean,
Do you think? Let me put it this way: do you think Palestinians colonized? They are in an apartheid state. Is that you believe that just like the Israeli Prime Minister said, they are the original people of the land. These Arabs came from neighboring countries after they came and found the land empty and built it. Which one do you believe to be the
I
truth?
think it is the way he kind of projected the argument, right? Because I mean, he kind of made it seem like Palestinians are just Arabs, right?
No, let's forget about what he make it look seem. I'm talking about what
Can you
versus what he said,
repeat the
which
question
is
again?
like he said they are the original people of that land. They came
you know, like they got kicked out, they came back, it was empty, they built it, and the Arabs came from the neighboring countries. So I'm asking you, do you believe that the Jews, the Netanyahu, the Zionists are the original people of the land, or the Palestinians are? Which one? Because in the chat you wrote that none of them are the original people of the land.
No, I did not say that. Did I
That
say
wasn't you?
No.
Okay.
I was just saying, like, it's the idea of a nation state kind of make this situation very like problematic, because
What?
the idea of a nation state, because you know back in the days people just live on lands and nobody have a whole nation belonging to themselves. Let's say I'm staying in Washington State. I stay. Let's say I stay in Lacey. Lacey could be my place, but it doesn't mean I claim Seattle as part of my land. People just don't have that idea of a whole large
Zongo, why don't we? I get that, but you know, let's speak about that region, that very
okay.
place.
I mean, the point I'm trying to
The
say,
same.
I mean, from my, I think they have problems in the region. Everybody's claiming they have a land, but as far as I know, from the UN, like the UN or something or whatever, even the Palestinian president at that time, what is his name, Yasser Arafat, they do recognize the two-state solution. They do recognize that. They
So,
recognize
but
that.
did you hear?
The problem that they have, Palestinians, hold on, Afrodamas. The problem that the Palestinians have is that they don't have sovereignty over their own nation, Palestine. They don't have sovereignty over there. Before, uh, if they want to transport something, they have to go. Like they need Israel,
And why is that?
because they. I think they don't trust the Muslims. They don't trust the
No. What I'm saying.
Mhm.
Do the Palestinians have the right to exist on their own land and move freely without being impeded?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean,
Okay,
they do. They do. They
so
do.
what you're saying is that's the reason why they are not effective in running their own thing, because they are under occupation. They are being impeded from
Yeah.
living as free people on their land.
To have their own like, cause.
Right.
But Afrodamas, you know the problem, right? If I can be honest with you, you know, like me, I mean, I come from the Muslim world, man.
Guys, please hit the like, hit the like.
Yeah.
You came from the Muslim world, and what's that have to do
I
with
mean,
reality?
I think the Israelis don't trust them, because if they give them the right to exist, man, it's gonna be conflict in that region, right?
Wait, Zongo.
But at the
There's
end of
already
the day,
conflict.
There's already conflict. What are you talking about?
no, I'm just speaking about like the Israelis. The reason why like they are
But
preventing
why don't the Israelis trust them? Like, why?
it's the same thing with Russia coming to Ukraine, because they don't trust
No.
I,
Why don't the Israelis trust the Palestinians?
Afrodamas, among nation states, they don't have an authority where you can report
But
to solve your
Zongo,
problems.
Zongo,
Afrodamas.
if you steal my apartment, you kick me out of my house, right? And I didn't give up my house. I'm just across the street. You that stole my house, do you
Are you
think
supposed to live in peace?
are you supposed to live in peace?
And, it's not gonna happen. I mean, but
Okay. So therefore, like, you that stole my house, why should I care about you, your moral authority, whether you trust me or you don't trust me? I want you gone. I want you out of my house. Then we don't have to have the issue of whether you trust me or not. Does that make sense?
yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the point I'm trying to say, like, generally, you know, for me, if you ask me personally, what I prefer, the two-state solution that was.
No.
Hold on.
Not your preference, because you not from there. Looking at the history, would you have loved if the white people from Britain, decided, you know what, they were gonna, they said they are Ghanaians, they own the
Afrodamas,
place.
it's not about the Ghanaians. It's
No,
about
I'm giving you an example.
even Yasser Arafat, their former leader, he believed in the two-state solutions. What are
Yeah,
you
but
talking about?
Netanyahu does not believe in the two-state
Exactly, and
solution.
that's what I'm saying.
Netanyahu, Yasser Arafat is, where is he now?
He's dead.
I rest my case.
But the point I'm trying to say is that I mean,
Hold on,
ideally, having your
Nilotic, what do you think about what Zongo is saying?
Afterdamus, you ask Zongo a question. This guy, I think he needs to be a politician because he can never answer your question. He just goes to another.
He
hey,
has
Afterdamus,
educated
let's just be
feet.
honest. Even when he talks about the two-state solution, bro, the two-state solution was probably viable back in the 60s or 70s when they came up with it. In 2023, even the territories that they gave to the Palestinians, according to the UN, there are Jews living there, bro. There are Yahoo boys living there. Afterdamus, just Google it. The West Bank, that is supposed to be like a territory for the Palestinians. There's like 500,000 to 750,000 Jews there because what the Israeli government does is they just kick the Palestinians off the land and they go settle the people there. So let's stop acting like the Yahoo boys even want this two-state solution. They just want the whole of Israel to be there. And if they have to wipe out the people, they will do it. It's just that they can't do it right now because it's not going to be viable for them on the international stage. And they are surrounded by Arabs. So even realistically, if every Arab rises up against them, they can't fight everyone at once. Even now,
exactly.
like while they're fighting the Hamas on the Gaza Strip, they're worried that Hezbollah from Lebanon is going to attack them. They're worried that the Syrians are going to also attack them. So they can't fight a war in all directions in 2023. So they can't just wipe them all out. So you keep talking about the two-state solution, bro. That shit is dead, man. There's literally close to 1 million Jews in the West Bank already living there and getting protected by the Israeli government. So that thing will never happen. Let's just
bro,
at this point, it's over.
in other words,
let's just be honest, man. These Palestinians, they're doomed, man.
Right.
So you know what the Palestinians are? They are what the South Africans would have been if Zimbabwe lost their war, if Angola lost their war. Remember, because the Boers were fighting all the way into Angola to try and protect their territory. It's just that as the Cold War kept going on and on, with Cuba's help and with the Soviets' help, like all of their territories kept getting demolished and they kept losing. They lost in Angola, they lost in Zimbabwe, and before they knew it, by the 80s, the freedom fighters were already on their borders, so they had no choice but to give up. Israel is not at that stage. They have plenty of options. They have a nuclear weapon, so this fight is going to go on forever.
And Zongo, you know what they're doing right now, right? They're trying to flush out the Palestinians out of Gaza. They want them to, pretty much, they are saying self-deport. They are forcing them to go live in Egypt, Jordan. It's weird how, this history of the 1940s, the same people said they deported them from place to place. That's what they are doing to Palestinians. They want to deport them off their own land.
Yeah, I mean,
since Israel has become a state, Jordan, the country right next to them, but this year, Jordan is a majority Palestinian state because of all the Palestinians immigrating. So when the Israelis talk about two-state solution, they mean we're going to take Israel and you Palestinians can go and take Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm saying, right? The point I'm trying to say is that, in an ideal world, I mean, all the states in this nation world, they don't have any high authority. So a lot of them just have their military, that they're going to use that to defend themselves, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, the stronger you are, I mean, the best you can be able to control the narrative, and also you can able to decide the affairs of, or the destiny of, any group within your region. I mean, that's how I kind of look at it, right? Is that what I want for the people in that region? I don't necessarily think so, but from the look of things right now, America support Israel. They support them with a lot of weapons, and they get to, like, defeat like the marginalized group in that region, right? But other than that,
America supported the South African regime before the apartheid regime.
That's the point I'm trying to say. They support Israel. They provide them with military weapons. That's the point I'm saying. That's why they continue to.
Yeah, no.
finance
What I'm
people in that
saying
region.
is, America did support the apartheid regime. The Europeans, they all supported them, and the blacks still won. They were liberated. So you cannot say
Yeah,
just
but
because this,
Alfred, it's different on this case
right?
because the blacks won, but you could also argue that the Boers weren't as strong as the Jews. The Jews in Israel were almost, especially back then, they were 1-to-1 with the Palestinians. At no point were the whites or the Boers ever 1-to-1 with the South African Bantus. Like the Bantus always outnumbered them, and they had supporting countries that were the same ethnicity as them.
Right.
Even though the Arabs were the same ethnicity, but really, remember the 6 Day War when Israel won against all of these Arab countries, Egypt and so on in 6 days. That was really the time. If they
Egypt
wanted
is
to take it
bought.
back, they could have. Yeah, Egypt, exactly. The president of Egypt right now, the dictator,
Al-Sisi.
bro, that guy is in the pocket of Egypt. Because when you look at the Gaza Strip, he polices the Gaza Strip for them.
Israel, bought that guy.
Yeah, remember for like 1 year, the Muslim Brotherhood came in power, and the Muslim Brotherhood was pro-Hamas. So America did whatever they could in their power. America and Israel did whatever they could, and they got them out of power in 1 year. And those guys were elected. And then they brought this guy from the military to be a dictator because he was pro-Israel and pro-America.
Oh, Sam Seals, hold on, let me read. Sam Seals, thank you for the super chat. He said, Afridam was your voice. Sam Seals, you're silly, man. But thank you for the super chat either way. He's a silly guy. Go ahead.
I mean, hey, man. I think, like, in the case of Muslim Brotherhood, and they just came to protect the status quo. As far as like you're gonna protect the interests of the external powers, I mean, they're just good, because they know, like,
Zongo, let me ask you this. Zongo, do you trust a government enough to give them power to exterminate a group of people?
No. But I don't trust. Man, I don't trust governments, even in my own country.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not. I don't trust. Governments. I don't trust them. I want to.
Then what are you saying then?
The point I'm trying to say is that when it comes to the Palestinian solution, Palestinian-Israeli situation, right? What was decided upon back in the days about having a two-state solution? I wish they could have just stayed upon that without equipping
But
through
hold on, forget about two-state. The history that the prime minister gave that I analyzed here. Let's focus on that, right?
Oh, okay.
Do you think that history would bring the two-state solution that you are proposing?
Yeah. But I mean, see, I get because he was trying to argue that the Jews existed there between like the Arabs like came to displace them over there, right?
Say that again.
He was saying like the Jews existed there before the Arabs came to displace them.
You weren't listening.
No, he made that statement, and later they
Nilotic. You remember how many times was the land empty, and how many times the Arabs were in it?
Pajamas. He first said there was no one on the land. The land was barren. It was empty. Then he said, okay, there were a few Arabs, but they weren't doing anything on the land. They only built one city.
It's one city.
And then he said, oh, actually, the Arabs that you see now are only migrated once we came there and we built the stuff. Pajamas, you know what the funniest thing about this is? You could just do a simple Google search. During the Ottoman Empire, outside of the Turkey that you know today, which was the base for the Ottoman, the Palestinian region was like the highest agricultural produce for them from their tributaries. So number one was Egypt, and second was Palestine. So in Egypt, we all know is an agricultural hub, and it has like a lot of people. It has been a hub for civilization for long. But after that, it was the Palestinians. So I don't. It's that region. So him saying there was nothing there, I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, they had a mufti. Then the mufti, support, Hitler. The Palestinian
Exactly.
Mufti. So what?
Africanus. And you know what the funny thing is? When the first Yahoo boys that came after what happened to them in Europe, after what happened to them in World War II in Europe happened,
Right.
they actually had to buy land from Palestinian nobles who were living at the time in Turkey, because during those noble tribute, those Ottoman days, pretty much the people that were they didn't call them nobles, but they were effectively nobles. They would just live in the Ottoman, in the hub of the Ottoman Empire. They would live in Istanbul, because that's like the hub. Like everyone wants to be there. So those guys would be there. Their peasants would be working, and then they would come once or twice to collect their stuff and then go back again to live there. But once the Ottoman Empire fell, those guys and their kids just decided to stay there, but they still had the deeds to the land, and they had no use for that land because they weren't there anymore. So
Yeah.
what a lot of the Zionists did is they went to these guys and then they bought the deeds to the land from these guys, and then they kicked the peasants out. So technically, like, how could you say there was no one there when you literally had to buy the deed from the nobleman who had peasants there and so on? Like, it actually doesn't make sense.
And the two-state solution, Zongo is saying that would never happen, Zongo.
I'm not saying that. It was something that was agreed between the leaders at that time. I'm not saying that. Afredamus, why are you acting like I said
Okay.
that?
Bro,
Okay,
Zongo,
let's
just understand logic. At the time, Israel just wanted like a breathing space because of all the international backlash. So they just signed the two-state solution. They didn't really believe in it. They just said, okay, since the international community is on us and it's not looking good for
Zongo
us, we might
believes
as well just sign.
everything
It's like
government
It's like,
says.
remember when the apartheid government in South Africa decided to create the Bantustans? It's just
Right.
like a compromise that you make temporarily so that the international community can get off your back. 'Cause as soon as the international community started looking away, what did they do to that two-state? They started settling their own people in the West Bank and all the Palestinian territories that were given. So no one believed in it, bro. Like the guy bro, these guys say one thing. Like it's like Netanyahu, bro. They're going to lie to your face and do whatever they need to do after you believe them. So they're just trying to hoodwink you. Like no one in Israel ever believed in that two-state
It's
solution.
pimping.
They believe that whole Israel is going to be theirs one day. They believe that God has destined them to take that land. But I'm going to be honest with you, as an Ethiopian, if you had to push me, I'd rather support the Israelis than the Palestinians because it's in our best interest at the end of the day. They're closer to us than. I'm saying all this, but I don't want to be. I live for my own self. After that, we have to live for our own self-interest. I don't ally with any Arab. I live for my own self-interest. And if you put an Israeli and a Palestinian, I'm going with the Israeli. But I still can admit to myself, I'm going with the colonizer.
Yeah, at least you're telling the truth. Let's bring in Mimi. Mimi, welcome to the Afredamus Report.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Afredamus and all your panelists. I mean, I just want to go back to Zongo, what you talked about, talking about the two-state solution. I don't think the Palestinians have a problem with that. I think their problem is they want their freedom. Imagine somebody come and invade your land, and they control your food, they control your water, they control your electricity. Everything that goes to Palestine, it has to go through Israel. Those people want their freedom. That's what they're fighting for. They understand that they cannot get Israel back, but they want their freedom. They want their own state. They don't want Israel to control them like the way they're doing it right now. And now they can go anywhere. They can even go to Egypt. They don't even give them this space. Now they're saying that they want Hamas to just surrender. But what does Hamas got to do with the innocent kids and women that are living there, that are suffering? And those people want to get out of there, but they're not letting them go. That's the problem. And the mainstream media is trying to change the narrative. They're trying to make the oppressor, which is the Israeli,
But
like
Mimi, what do you think about maybe the Palestinians, Arabs are, according to the Prime Minister, they are in fact the colonizers.
I was gonna come to that. I believe the Palestinians own that land. These Israeli, they are Europeans. They don't even look, like you said before, they don't even look like everybody around that area. The
No, they do.
Palestinian,
They do look like the Arabs. Some of them over there do look
No,
like those Arabs.
some of them look like them, but most of these Europeans that
No,
come over there and
the
settle there,
Ashkenazi
even their
Jews.
president don't even look like.
The
Yeah.
Ashkenazi. But
But
hold on.
Zongo, Mimi is telling the truth though.
Hold on.
Like
No, no, no.
it's,
Hold on.
I'm just gonna
After hold on.
Yo,
I'm just gonna
The
finish and I will
Syrians
let you
also look
talk,
like
Zongo.
Europeans
Zongo,
too.
the Arabs, if you follow religion, and I'm still trying to educate myself. I am not somebody who know a lot about religion, even though I'm a Muslim. But the thing is, if you follow religion, starting from the prophets Musa, you go to Isa, all from that. They are not the Jews. The Jews are the Arabs. The Christians are the Arabs, and the Muslims are the Arabs. So we just follow them. That's it. So these Europeans that come over there and claim that they are the original Jews, they are not. They are invaders. Let's just call a spade a spade. Just because your land was empty,
Zongo, do you disagree with what Mimi is saying?
just because your land was empty, there are so many lands in
But
Africa
Mimi, do
that
you
are
even
not.
believe that the land was empty?
I'm pretty sure the land wasn't empty. Maybe there are certain
I
parts
don't
that
believe.
wasn't
I
like
don't. I don't.
developed. We can say
No,
that the
I
land
don't believe the
wasn't
region.
developed. I can understand that. The
No, I
land
don't.
wasn't developed. There are so many land in Africa, especially around the Sahara, that is not developed. Anybody can come and claim it and develop it and claim it. That don't mean that that's your land. It's not your
Yeah,
land.
but I
It's
don't.
Africans' land.
Yeah, but I
But
don't
you
believe
came
all
and
the people in
developed it.
that region. I don't believe all the people in that region are Arabs, right? A lot of the people over there became
Zongo,
Arabized too.
when
A
you
lot of
say
the people in
Arabs,
that
you
region.
see us African. When we talk about Arabs, we just think about the Arabs are just Muslims.
No,
No, they
that's not what I mean. Hold on first. Let me tell you. See, even in Iraq, I met a lot of Kurdish people that live in Iraq, and they were not Arabs actually. And even earlier,
you
Zongo,
talking
Saddam
about the
Zongo,
Persian,
we
the
Zongo,
Persian.
we know that, but we're talking about the Palestinians. You even heard what the prime minister said. He calls them Arabs. So what are you talking about?
but I'm saying a lot of the
Because he's calling them Arabs because they clearly are different from the Ashkenazis.
but the point I'm trying to say, a lot of the group in that region they became Arabized too. That's the point I'm trying to say. Because
Because
if
they converted, Zongo, they converted. Most of them were not even Muslims. Some of them were Jews, some of them were Christians. But as time goes, most of them converted and be a Muslim.
yeah, I get it,
We
but
need to understand that too.
yeah, I get what you're
So
saying. I'm
wait.
saying they were
Guys, while I have you guys here, I would like for you guys also to touch on this since that land was empty. Okay, where was the black Hebrew Israelites during this time? I want us to touch on that as well.
That's a
And
whole different topic.
no, because the Netanyahu did not mention the black Hebrew Israelites, and that is not sitting well with me. But
see
go ahead.
the black
I
Americans in
understand
America.
that there were blacks in Egypt, but not, I don't know anything about Palestine or
No,
Israel with
they are black.
blacks, but I
They are
know there are
black.
blacks that lives in Egypt. But within the
So
around
let
that
me ask.
area,
So Mimi, does Israel have the right to exist in that place?
I mean, for my
Yes,
opinion, that's the
yes, they do.
Palestinian
Hold,
land.
hold
But
on,
at
hold
this
on, Zongo.
point,
We'll come to you.
at this point, they already exist. The only solution is like let them have their land and let the Palestinians have their land. But if we're gonna go back to facts and history, that is not their land. That's the Palestinian land. That's my opinion.
Zongo, what do you say?
I think they so far as there was a language called Jewish or Hebrew that was spoken in that region. I think a group of people in that region supposed to be they're supposed to exist in that region. Whether like another group hijacked it and call it like the Ashkenazis hijacked the situation and promoted their agenda. I mean that is something that I don't know. I don't have pretty much understanding about it. But I do believe that not just Arabic speaking people should exist over there. Other groups, other languages that existed at that time, and their groups should also have the right to exist in that region. If they are Hebrews or they speak the Hebrew language, they have every right to exist over there.
Okay. Nilotic, does Israel have the right to exist there?
I mean, Apidamus, they have nukes. What do you expect? Who's going to move them? Are you going to move them? Let's just be honest.
Nobody will.
Apidamus,
Yeah,
you know what?
that's true.
I'm listening to a lot of people here, and you can kind of see why Africa is terrible when it comes to politics, because people are just debating on morality. Let's look at this from an African standpoint. Bro, Apidamus, if we're being honest, I wish that these two groups can fight from now till the end of time, forever. Because if
Right.
they're always fighting, that means there's always division for you to go and exploit, for you to go and negotiate, and for you to get something from each group on.
Right.
Because remember, there was a time not too long ago, Israel was asking to be an observer state in the AU. And all of these African countries, they got offended, they chased them out. You know what I was going to say to them? Hey, you want to be an observer state in the AU? The Arabs won't let you into the Arab League. But okay, we'll accept you. Just offer us XYZ, give us technology transfers for agriculture, irrigation stuff, some of your GMOs for your food products, and then we'll let you in. That's okay, you can come in. When there's conflict, there's room for you to exploit it. When two groups are fighting, it makes it easier for you to come in and get what you want from these two groups by negotiating, because they both want you to ally with them. So they'll be willing to offer you more stuff. So technically, I hope Israel exists, because let's be honest, man, Israel is the one guy out there whooping all Arab ass. And if the Arabs, they're the one thing dividing all the Arabs and keeping all the Arabs separate and divided. So yes, in a Machiavellian way, I hope they exist. I hope they keep fighting, and I hope this war goes on forever.
Look at what Mal wrote. Mal said they are giving contraceptive to Ethiopians so that Israel will be free from black babies. CNN News.
I mean, before you let
you know what's crazy? These guys are talking about stuff that happened in the 80s, bro. Like, move on, bro.
So,
this happened in the 80s. That's like talking about Jim Crow and still saying, "Oh, America hates black people because this happened during the 60s or whatever." Bro, move on. This happened that far back. And at the end of the day, I'm not an Ethiopian Jew. I'm from a completely different tribe. That has nothing to do with me. From an Ethiopian perspective, we're surrounded by Arabs. The Jews are our natural allies from country to country. So we're going to ally with them.
Right.
Thank you. We are a majority Christian nation. They are majority Jews. They have their own religion. The Arabs don't like either one of us. The Arabs have historically attacked both of us. So we're going to be allied. I don't know why this guy's talking.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of makes sense that way. And also, Afrodamus, if you ask me personally about this conflict, I was looking at it from the African perspective that, okay, among all these nation states across the globe, there's no even higher authority. So the more nukes and weapons you have, the stronger you are. You can get to decide whatever you want to do. And I look at our own people, I'm like, damn, man, it's that easy for a foreign country just come and just wipe your ass over there and just take over your land over there. I think Two Niger has been advocating for this for a long time, and a lot of
advocating for what?
Military might and in these regions within the Saharan and African region.
Does the African have the discipline to have the nukes?
That's what when I keep on saying that we
No.
people say I don't like people say I don't like people say I don't like them. People say I'm just pessimistic. I mean,
yeah, but you do hate on Africa, though.
But Afridamas, sometimes you gotta speak this gem in them so that they can think properly. Because if you keep on giving them hope, they're gonna think the real world is that easy.
No, but why wouldn't I give Africans hope? They've been giving us sorrow. Someone gotta give them hope.
I'll let Gray speak, man.
All right, Gray, welcome to the Afridamus Report.
Hey, Afridamus, I haven't seen or talked to you for a while.
I know it's been a minute. So, Gray, you heard the little history from the Israeli Prime Minister. What do you think about? Are they the original people of that land, and do they have the right to exist?
Yes, they have the right to exist there.
Okay.
Because if you follow
the history all the way back to I know how many thousand BC. Israel,
3,500 years ago, he said they've been there.
yeah, and Israel has the right to be there and to defend themselves. Okay, let's say whatever happened and they lost the land. The land was given to them by Great Britain by the time.
But they were going to go to Uganda first.
Okay, but they didn't go there.
Yeah, so because they were going to call Uganda their original home too.
But
if they succeeded, they would have been, dropping bombs on Ugandan Bantus.
Man,
I just want to ask.
Well, let me say this first. Okay, you said that, right, Afrodamas, but they didn't go there. So
Right.
the place that they put them at is where they've been at. So I think that
But they bought land, like you heard, like, my thing is, if they bought the land and whatsoever,
Great Britain gave it to them.
Huh?
Great Britain gave it to them.
Yeah, but it's not Great Britain's to give.
Well, then that should be taken up with at that time when they were going through.
They did. That's what the fight was all about.
Okay.
It's like when they partitioned Africa amongst each other, the countries. It wasn't theirs to do it, but they did it anyways. That's why they went, and faced resistance in some of the places. They went to war because you told yourself that now you own this land. So that means whoever is you found on that land, in your mind, they don't exist. The only people that exist are the ones that accept what you say and follow what you say. So anyone that says otherwise, you have to be X'd out.
But they had it before and lost it.
Yeah,
but they were not the original people. The original people were the Middle Eastern, not these people that are living in Israel right now. That's what we need to understand.
So Mimi, what Mimi is saying is these people came from Europe, and they are Mimi. Are you saying they are mimicking? They are mimicking the original ones. Okay.
As time goes, if you understand religion, the Middle Eastern people were the people that were the Jews, not the Europeans.
No, I disagree with you, Mimi.
As time goes, that other prophets were introduced. That's how people will convert and be something else. But yes, some people were still Jews.
I disagree with
you. Africans, we need to understand that and put that in our head. And I know when you are Muslim, they teach you that. You understand that as the prophet goes, people
what the hell is going on
and be the religion that is introduced.
Mimi, if you're gonna use that to disqualify the Jews, then a lot of these Arabs
no, I'm not disqualifying the Jews. Jews were.
But you said they're not the original people.
The Jewish people were there, but they were not these people were not the original Jews.
Exactly, and I'm saying if you are gonna use this yastic,
well, that's what Farrakhan said too.
Let me say, if you're going to use this yastic, then a lot of these current Arabs also were being mixed with these Turkish people too. A lot of them, even the Palestinians still today, they still intermarry among the Turkish people. So you can make that argument. You can make that argument as well too. If they
wait, which Turkish people?
The modern day Turkey.
No. Listen, the Turkish people are still in Turkey. The Middle Eastern are still in Middle Eastern.
I'm saying,
like the Arab nation is
the point
still
I'm trying to say is, if they migrated and stayed in that region and they married their people, but then they still passed on their culture to their kids, they have every right to come from that tribe, just like
Zongo,
Africans.
I am not saying that they don't have a right to be there right now. Mm-hmm. My argument is, and I think you guys fail to understand, that the Palestinian people are not fighting them to get out of there. They're fighting for their freedom.
Wait, hold up.
They want to have their own freedom. They don't want Israel to control them.
That's not
their land. Fine.
That is not true.
I think you're mistaken.
No way they can get them out of there, but let them be free and live in their land too. Now what they're trying to do, they're trying to make them go away. Can you?
But
You are African. We have been oppressed for
Epidemos,
so long. You have to put
Hey,
yourself in their
people,
shoes.
people take over lands. You know, people fight, they conquer, they take
Wait,
over land. It's just like
wait.
America.
So, Mal,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. Mal, just a sec. Let Kugwe finish her point,
No.
and then Mal, you'll be next.
What she's saying is not true. Palestinian does not want peace. The only way there will be peace in that place, except Israel is actually out of that place. That's the only peace. They try to make peace even when Yasser Arafat was there.
That's what they put in your mind. That's not
true.
truth.
That's not true.
That's not the truth.
That's not
That's
true.
what the main media is
That's
putting
not true.
out there.
That's not
But
true at all.
Palestinians has been oppressed for so long.
That's
okay,
not
I just want to add
so
something
long.
I
quickly.
disagree with that. That's not true at all.
I mean, like,
So wait, Gwe, what do you think about when the Prime Minister said the Arabs are the colonizers? Do you agree?
And trying to get rid of you, you're gonna fight back.
But
Afridamus, can I make a point quickly?
Hold on, Sudanese, just a sec. You get a chance. Hold on. So, Gwe, do you believe that the Arabs are the colonizers?
Like, what do you mean, colonizer of what?
Well, that's what the Prime Minister said. He said that the Arabs are in fact the colonizers. The Arabs colonized them.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
That's how
that's what he said. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, they're gonna say that. But what I'm saying is there have been many times where they try to make peace in that Middle East, and the only way that peace will be is through the fact that Israel is completely removed out of that Middle East. That's the only way there will be peace in that place.
That's false.
That's false. That's completely false.
As
That's
long
what
as Israel stay there, there will always be
media is saying,
fighting.
and that is not true.
That is
true. Not true, because that's what they put
wait,
out
Mimi,
there.
let her finish, Mimi. Please, Mimi, let her finish.
That's the only way. They've tried so many times to make peace, and they just don't want peace because the Palestinians feel like Israel don't belong there. That is the main goal.
Yeah, but Gray, hold on, Gray. I mean, Israelis, they have all the weapons, they have everything. Come on.
Yeah, because they're supposed to protect themselves. What they're supposed to be sitting down.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's just
okay. Wait, so
hold on.
Since coming, I don't know what country. I think you for
no,
Ghana.
I'm just helping Gray to be a little open, right? Hamas is just a small faction of Palestinians. Palestinians comprise of Hamas, Muslim, Christians, and Jews, though. So you gotta look at a big.
No, I'm not saying just the entire. I'm saying that group, that Pacific group, and the terrorist groups that keep attacking Israel. That's what I'm saying.
Zongo, I think Palestine is you know they have almost 100% Muslim, almost.
Yes,
almost, right.
You don't expect for Israel. They're because they get bigger weapons and stuff like that. That's why.
By the way, do you know that there's Jewish Palestinians too, and Christian Palestinians?
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yes, I know that.
Yeah. So when people are trying to say that this is a war between Jews and Muslims, it's completely false. You see, this idea that the Jews are returning to their land that they were kicked out of is false.
Okay, hold on. South Sudanese, hold on. We would come to you for your point. Yeah. You skipped. Let's allow Mal also to come in.
Okay, but people were interrupting. So.
Yes.
About this.
Yeah, we'll just allow Mal, then South, and then you can interject. Mal, are you there, Mal?
Yeah, I'm here. So, Afidamus, I will take a different approach about this issue because.
Okay, let me ask you, Mal. So, Mal, do you believe that, like what the Israeli Prime Minister said? He said, "Look, the Arabs are the colonizers. They came. The land was empty again, and they built it. And now these Arabs came in. They own the land, the Israelis." What is your take? Is he telling the truth, or he's just like, you're gonna go along with whatever story we tell you? But what is your perspective? Is the Palestinians the original people of that land, or they are colonizers, like the Prime Minister said, or the Jews are the original people of that land? Which one is it?
Yeah. Afidamus, for me, I think there is a little bit of truth in what he said. Okay,
which part?
the part that the Arabs were the colonizers in Palestine. Because if you look at the history, even in the books, I don't know even the books state very clearly that land belonged to the Israelis, because they were enslaved in Egypt and they were rescued by Musa and went to that land, and Allah gave them that piece of land. But in the Quran, it says it
You
will
mean
chase them
Jehovah?
from that land.
But in the book of Moses, it says Jehovah.
Yeah, exactly. So now
It didn't say Allah.
they,
There's difference between
yeah,
Allah and
that's
Jehovah.
yeah. Oh, okay. I never know that. So now, okay, the problem is the Islamic narrative is saying that they will be cast out of that land, and that's what exactly they did when they wrote the book. Now the Quran, okay, said that they will cast them out. The Muslims, when they defeated them, you understand, some of them live with them, and some of them, how to call it, left the country to Europe and other places. They dispersed. So now they will come back again, and that one also is in the Quran. They will come back again, and they will come back, so, and they came back, so now the problem is, before I used to support Palestine cause a lot, because I feel I'm a Muslim and I'm entitled to support them. But the problem is, Affidavits now.
Wait, Mal.
Yes.
Wait,
Yes.
before you said you used to support Palestine.
Yes.
But
yes,
now
I used to.
Muslim.
And
Now
you're Muslim.
Yes,
But now your perspective is changed.
It's changing. It's changing, bro. You know why? Because I'm seeing now. I'm seeing these people now, Arab people now, we supporting them like Muslim to Muslim brothers. We are supporting them. But how many wars are in Africa which are Muslim, terrorists, terrorizing other Muslims? And they did not they did not stand for no Muslims.
Oh my God. Don't
You
read
understand?
that.
So now, for me, that is my perspective about the whole situation is about conquest. These people came back. Look at the Muslim nations. They are weak. No Muslim nation is just in the internet complaining. Nobody, is even ready to stand for Palestine. What's the
Bismillah.
purpose? Because they are afraid. You understand? They are weak. And now a little country like this guy, Israel, is terrorizing the whole region, and nobody can even speak. And now we are here in this situation.
Qatar speaking. Iran and Qatar are speaking.
Of the Arab aggression.
And now we are here in this situation.
Iran and Qatar are speaking.
Of the Arab aggression.
And now we are here in this situation.
Somebody has a
Somebody
playback.
has YouTube on.
What's happening?
South Sudanese, it's your turn now. Hold on, guys.
I think Affidavits is on mute.
Can you guys hear me?
Affidavits are
Yeah, we
frozen.
can hear you, Affidavits.
I'm frozen for some reason.
That's
Guys,
okay.
can you guys see me frozen? But as long as you can hear me, we're good.
Okay.
That's
Can I
good.
make my
South
point?
Sudanese, go. It's your turn now. Hey guys, hey, I'll be in charge. Hey, Affidavits has frozen.
Yeah.
South Sudanese, go ahead. It's your turn.
Zongo, you can't be in charge of
Now
everything.
I want to just make my point, Nilotic.
So now Affidavits, these people came back with their mixed breed from Europe. Okay, now they went to Europe, they intermixed there with the white people. Now they become white. Okay, so now they have the white mentality, and this is why all the white people are supporting these people, whether they have done wrong or not. All the white people, because now they are no more Jews. They are white people. They are Jews with white skin. And obviously, the white people stand in solidarity with them. It's just like your own people. If your own people go to somewhere and now you feel that you have your blood, their blood in you, then they become white. This is why in Ethiopian people who think that they are Jews, they are giving them pills so that they will not give birth to black babies in Israel. It's for the white people.
Them.
So that is what is happening right now. So play that video I sent you. This is just recent. This guy is saying 1980. This is just recently. This is what they are doing to Ethiopian ladies in Israel right now.
Well,
and it's their right. That is a white man's land.
Well, as you can see, they froze me. Yeah, I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did to this. I don't know what I did to them or what I said. I have been good throughout, but these people have frozen me. Look at me.
Stop lying, man. It's your $2 internet, man.
It's not.
No,
Mal, it's not.
I swear, I'm on the best internet. I'm on the white man's internet.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's allow South Sudanese warrior to have a speaking space
Okay,
too.
thank you, Zongo. Wow, that was a lot. But what I was saying was, I wanted to disagree with you, Mal, because you were saying that that was land that Jehovah or Allah gave to the Jews. First of all, I just want to completely destroy that narrative, because even in their Bible, in the Torah, it's saying that there was people already living in that land. Why would God give them a land that people were already living in? They came
God
into that land.
destroyed those people.
Because
They
God
slaughtered.
wanted them to wipe out those
To
people.
wipe out those people, they
They,
are the Canaanites.
no. And you know these modern day Palestinians. Do you know who they are? They're the Canaanites they're the descendants of the Canaanites and the Philistines, who were the nomadic tribes who were there before the Jews arrived there. Actually, the Jews
So what
themselves are
about the
Canaanites.
Arabs who conquered the region? Did you forget the Arabs?
That's why
Did
I
you
said,
forget about the conquest of the Arabs?
have you heard? 1 minute. Have you heard of the Mizrahi Jews? Do you know who those are? The Mizrahi Jews?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Those
Yeah.
are the Jews who remained in the Middle East. Do you understand?
Yeah,
Those are
I
the
know
Jews
that
who
not
remained
all
in
of them left. I
Palestine.
understand that very well,
Yeah,
bro. That's
and
why
then
I say some people left,
and then
and the people who left mixed with the white people,
right.
and they
Wait.
became
Let me
white, and
finish.
they came
Let me
back.
finish the point, and then I'll let you respond. Right? The Jews who remained in Israel, they were living in peace with the Muslims and the Christians who were there already. You see, there was an equilibrium in that region already. Everything got disrupted when the European Jews came to that region and decided to create their ethno state and discriminate
Exactly.
against the other religious groups that were already there. Do you
Exactly.
understand? That
Yeah,
is
I
the
agree.
root
Yeah.
of this problem. That's why
Yeah.
this. If
So
the
South Sudanese, let me ask you this.
yeah.
So what do you think about the prime minister's take on it? He even said he wrote a book, nobody's challenging it. Basically saying he's like someone came, took your apartment and kicked you out. You
It's
return
complete bullshit.
centuries later. The apartment is now empty. You built it. You took your apartment back. You built it, and
It's
that's that.
complete
So
bullshit.
he's saying they are the original people. These Arabs are just from neighboring countries. What do you think about that
I
claim?
think it's complete bullshit because you know why?
No, he's right.
That is like African Americans coming back to Nigeria or somewhere, being like, we're the original motherfuckers here. We're
They did
going
it
to
in
take
Liberia.
over. Yeah,
They
like they
did
did in
that.
Liberia.
Right.
It's complete bullshit.
and
Right.
Sierra Leone, the people
Same
forget
thing.
that. But the Liberia is a famous one. That was a bad example.
Right. It's complete bullshit. They're doing the same thing like those African Americans in Liberia did. They're coming as colonizers. Palestine was fine before they came there. The Jews were living there, Christians were living there, Muslims were living there. When they came, and then they created it to be an ethno state, and then they started discriminating against the other religious groups. They even
So
discriminate.
you saying the prime minister didn't tell the truth? The land wasn't empty, wasn't barren like he's claiming.
It was.
Yes, he's lying completely.
No, he's not.
But
It's
South Sudanese, I want to
No,
ask you a
he's
question,
not.
right? Hold on, great. Let me ask South Sudanese. So, if all these Arabs have been able to claim or have an ethno state like Saudi Arabia, Jordan, all those people, don't you think the Jews also have a right to have an ethno state too?
okay. I want to answer this question actually. Those countries are not ethno states. It's not enshrined in those countries that this is a country for this specific ethnic group only. In those countries, they still have Christians and Jews living in those countries.
No,
Now,
no. I mean,
albeit,
what I mean actually is like Saudi Arabia is the land of like the Saudi, like the Saudis.
yeah, it's the land of the Sauds. Yeah,
Yeah, the Sauds, like
My
the
friend,
Western
just say it's
Pakistan.
the
but
land
that's
of
a
the
family.
Arabs. It's simple.
That's a royal family.
It's
Yeah,
just the land of the Arabs. Period. Why
yeah.
is you are trying to make it justify all the countries you see there? Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Ottoman, Qatar. They are pure Arab countries.
Exactly.
There are no
Yes.
other ethnic group apart from the Arabs. What is
No,
this
that
guy
that's
talking
not
about?
true. That's actually not true. There are other ethnic groups in those countries.
No, no,
Okay,
no.
tell
That's
me one
besides
ethnic
the
group.
point.
Tell me one ethnic group, official ethnic group that is in Saudi Arabia and is not an Arab ethnic group. Tell me.
No,
Do you want me? Do you want me to go down the list?
No, just tell me one. I just bet, tell me one ethnic group in Saudi Arabia that is not an Arab ethnic group, official ethnic group in Saudi.
Well, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of immigrants who live in
No,
Saudi as
man,
well too.
no,
let
no,
me
no,
tell
no.
you what is in Saudi. Let me tell you what is in Saudi.
Okay,
If you
tell me
don't
inside.
know,
They
they
actually,
are,
you know what? They even have actually Nigerians in Saudi too,
my friend,
descendants
those
of
are
Yeah,
not
Nigerians.
but
official ethnic group.
they are
They
migrants.
are
They are
not official.
migrants.
No, they are not even official. They are not
Yeah,
official
but
ethnic
at
groups.
least they're not getting
They
sterilized like
live
the
there. Yeah,
Ethiopians in
people can
Israel.
live in places. They are not official. It's not official recognized ethnic group in Saudi. Nigerian ethnic group. Are you smoking?
And a Muslim is not an ethnic group, by the way. South Sudanese. A Muslim is not an ethnic group.
Yo,
I didn't say
Mal,
Muslim,
what is this guy
but
saying? An
seriously,
immigrant group is not the same as an indigenous ethnic group, bro. What are you talking
Exactly.
about?
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to tell him.
There's no
Exactly, bro.
indigenous
okay.
Nigerian population in Saudi Arabia. They're just migrants who
No,
happen to live.
They're
they are
just
just
Yeah, what
migrants.
are
Guys,
you on
guys,
about, bro?
that was a joke, guys. Calm down.
Oh, okay,
No, it
okay.
wasn't. You thought that
Calm
nobody would
down, guys.
notice.
Bro, you weren't
Great.
joking, bro. You thought you were spitting facts, man.
He was telling the facts. This
No,
guy.
you guys need to calm
He's
down.
not saying
But
he's
you guys
joking.
Hold
need
on,
to
guys.
tell me
Hold on,
there's
guys.
no
Let him finish.
Christian
Let him make his
in Middle
points.
Oh
East.
my God.
There's no Christians in Middle East.
They
Okay,
are.
wait.
They
Hold
are.
up.
They are Arab
Wait 1 second. So,
Not
I
a
mean,
lot.
he's talking about Arabs and then Arabs having their own ethno states. You know what? That's a good point. But here's what I'm saying. Because what
So are you
Afridamus is
saying
saying.
do you believe that Israel has the right to exist there or not?
Okay, great. I believe that Israel should have the right to exist, but it has to recognize that it has to be a multi religious state. And this is why I say this because Jerusalem is too important to the three major faiths of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. So they can't, in this modern world, I think it would be very unrealistic for them to believe that they can maintain a monopoly over that. And that's the point that I was trying to
Do you
make
think that's the
when
biggest problem?
But
I
South
think that I
Sudanese.
think that's part of the problem, but that was the point I was trying to make when you were
But
saying,
it seems like land issue is the problem there. Land,
Yeah.
well, they also have Alaska, right? Because this whole thing that
right?
Hamas
Aksa.
was doing
Aksa.
was because of Alaska. They were saying this is Alaska
Aksa.
flood operation because
Aksa.
the Jews were not allowing the Muslims to pray peacefully in Alaska mosque. That was a part of the reason, a part of the agitation that led to this.
Yeah,
Now,
but Afdamas, I wanted
what
to
I was
ask another
saying,
question.
Afidamus, is the reason why I was bringing that up was because you were saying something about the Israeli prime minister saying that this was
Their
barren
land.
land and they just came in and there was no one there. That's
Yeah.
complete bullshit.
No, it's not.
There's,
Wait. So Gwe, you saying you agree it was empty?
and then
Yeah,
tell me who built Alaska Mosque if it was empty?
you know.
Yeah, but the Mux is just a tiny area, though. It's just
No, there was a caliphate there. There was people who were living there before the Ashkenazi Jews came from Europe to colonize that place and then create the state of Israel. And
But
the
it's still,
Zionists,
that don't mean that you should be killing people
this is
and
how hypocritical
paragliding for whatever
the Zionists are
doing
because
that. Stop it.
yeah. But Gwe, are you a
If you
Christian
belong over
or you're
there,
a Jew? Gwe, hold on. Are you a Christian or you're a Jew?
I'm a Christian.
Because if you're
okay.
a Christian, there are Palestinian Christians over there too. You
Yeah.
should be supporting your
By the way,
sisters over there.
the Ashkenazi Jews, they're discriminating against the Christians too. Just
Because
so you know.
I used to be a Muslim and I was following blindly, but now trying to look at things in a very objective way. You
So
know.
now you just want to tap dance?
Right.
I try to think in an objective way. Because
Okay.
Team, just
Zong,
final
Zong,
point, and then I'll
Zongo,
mute my
you
mic.
eat us.
Zongo, you haven't answered one question.
You
oh
eat
When
us.
he
my
says he's
god.
objective, he means
One last
Oh
point,
my
and then I want to mute my mic.
Zongo never answers questions.
No, because
One
you eat
last
us
point, and then I'll mute my mic. Everybody can talk
question.
whatever they want. Just one
Okay.
last point, please. Okay, great. This is the last point I wanted to make. So, you were saying that what's your name?
Gwe.
My name is Gway.
What?
Gway.
Gwe. Yeah, I think you had. What was your question about All right, okay, I got it now. So the Zionists, they're hypocrites. You know why they're hypocrites?
Why?
Because Israel was not even the only place that they were considering for the Jewish state. Do you know that they were considering Uganda as well?
Yes,
That's
we know,
what. That's
Do you
brother.
what.
know that they were
Yes,
considering
and
Argentina
Madagascar
as
as
well?
well. We know.
Sud-
Yes, yes, we know.
Sudanese, you know,
Uganda, Madagascar, and
Gwe
one or
already
two
made
other
it
places,
clear.
bro.
Gwe don't care because she said they didn't go there, so she don't
Could you
care.
imagine if they went
Yeah,
if
no,
they
I
Yeah,
went
don't.
to Uganda
I don't know
instead?
why you asking Gwe that question. Gwe says Gwe already made it clear. She says she don't care. They didn't go there.
But can you imagine if
We
they
will be
went to
having a different
Uganda?
conversation if they
Right,
went.
right. Yeah, she's already let you know she don't care because
I
they
think
didn't go there.
Africans, we need to be open-minded and stop
Right.
aligning
Yeah.
ourselves with religion, because
With
this has
religion.
nothing to do with religion. I think
Exactly.
most of
Look,
us are
Afidamas,
aligning
you know what the
ourselves.
funny thing is here, though?
What?
Can I ask any of these people, Afidamas, can you just ask any of these people? Ask the people that support the Palestinians here, what you get out of supporting Palestine? And ask the people that support Israel here, what you get
Zongo
out of
said,
supporting Israel? Because
okay, good
I'm going to
question.
be honest with you. I support Israel because I think Israel can benefit Africa in the future. Like you can get more out of Israel or by siding with Israel than you
Wait,
would by siding with Palestine. So
Palestinians,
I support siding with
it would
Israel. No, no, no. I'm just saying individually, Afidamas. No,
It
I'm
would
saying
help.
individually for your own individual
Individual.
country. You
Okay.
should side with whatever side can give you the most.
What
But
do I
these
get
people, like if they're
from
Christian, they'll
supporting
come here and
Palestine?
support Israel. If they're Muslim, they'll come here and support Palestine. Bro, no one does politics like that. Just support someone who's going to give you the most or you're going to benefit the most from.
Okay, do you know why I'll benefit from supporting Palestine? Let me tell you why I'll benefit, right? Because I will live in a world that sets the standard.
Oh my
The
God.
standard. What? You want me
Nilotic,
to?
let him speak, man. Let him speak,
You asked
Nilotic.
the question, right? So let me answer. You know, you're Nilotic junta, so you're supposed to be my brother. But anyway, so the reason why I support Palestine is because I want to live in a world that stands against colonialism, against encroaching on other people's territory. And that benefits me as a South Sudanese specifically because constantly Uganda, Kenya, and North Sudan are trying to take pieces of my land. Do you understand why I would align myself with Palestinians?
The Palestinian issue has nothing to do with you. Even if the Palestinians are free tomorrow, if the Ugandans have the power to take the land, they'll come and take it.
Heard of the term
Those
that
two
if
issues have
there's
nothing.
have you heard of the term that if there is
You think a Palestinian will come and help you? Bro, you think if you scratch a Palestinian's
it's
back, he's
about
going to come
setting
and
the
scratch yours?
precedent, my friend. And if you think
Oh
that
my
the
God, there's no
Israelis
president, bro. There's no such thing as a president. There's no world government looking after
you
every
don't
other
think there's
government.
you don't think
The
there's
world is run
such
by
thing as
power.
global precedent?
The world is run by power, bro. Just grow up. There's no one who's going to look after you.
So tell me how it's not about looking after me. It's about making sure that the precedent in the world is not people can just come to your land and take over
What
your land
president,
and
bro?
everyone's
What are
going
you
to be
on
fine with
about?
it.
Alfie Damas, can you please tell this guy there's no such thing as setting a president in this world?
Hey, by the
If
way,
someone
South
has the power
Sudan.
over you, they're going to come and take your shit, and there's nothing you can do about it. The
There is
only way
such a
you can
thing
defend yourself
as
is by
setting a precedent in the
by
world.
force.
There's many precedents that
Bro,
have been
there's no
set.
such thing. Look, the Americans were pissed off when Russia was trying to take land from the Ukrainians. But the same Americans are now here supporting the Israelis. No one is consistent. There's no such thing as consistency.
Yeah, and then that's
People
why
are all looking out for their own
people are
self-interest.
trying to call out the hypocrisy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
No
the
one
pushback
cares,
is
bro. No
for.
one in power cares about this hypocrisy, man. People in power do whatever it takes to look after their own power. This thing that you think you're being a high value person or you're being logical by appealing to morality, bro, that's for the weak. Morality is for the weak. The
Wait.
strong go get a gun and take what they want.
I want to hear what Zongo, Gwe, and Mal has to say on their support.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like your question you asked them, Nilotic. So, Zongo, what's your answer to what Nilotic, the question he's asking?
How does it benefit me?
Yes.
I mean, if you ask me like this religion, I mean, it's if they, like.
So you're doing it because of religion?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I mean my travel, because for me, when you were discussing about this situation, it looks like a good thing for us as Africans in our region. Because if they can have conflict, then there wouldn't be attention in our region. You get what I'm saying? So I mean, if the conflict exists, it gives them a focus in that region. Because all these Muslims, if they are united, they're gonna focus on other regions as well, and they might creep into our region, sub-Saharan African. If you from a more
Wait,
like
from a what?
Epidemics, ask this guy who take
if
their land at the South Sudan, who took their land, and
Wait,
up to
wait, wait,
now,
Mal, 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 you get your turn.
Yeah,
Wait a
Yo,
Mal,
second.
listen,
Mal,
I'll address you
you're a
directly.
genius. Thank you. Can
I'll
you please
address you
ask this
directly.
guy
You don't know what the hell you're
who was
talking about.
oppressing him in South Sudan?
And
Hold
Wasn't
on,
it the
hold on,
Arabs?
hold on, hold on. We'll get to Mal. Go
no,
ahead, Zongo.
Nilotic, come on, man. Just the point I'm trying to say is that if we can be objective, protecting our interests, the conflict it kind of benefit us for those of us in sub-Saharan region, right? Because they will like the Arabs and other like people in the region are going to focus more on the conflict in that region, right? We as like people in the sub-Saharan African region, so it is good for us if talking about our territorial integrity and sovereignty into consideration.
But what is Palestine's fight got to do with African sovereignty, African country?
I'm saying because like the Muslims, for instance, if they have their own freedom and they are able to unite, right, they're gonna turn around and look at other regions where they can, interfere in their internal affairs because they are united under the same banner. That's why if you look at
So you're just saying, you know,
The
you
enemy of
now
my
now
enemy is my friend.
so you've become the white man, Zongo, within a short period of
Yes,
time.
Afridamus.
Divide and conquer. Zongo,
yeah,
Zongo, you're
Yes,
dangerous.
Afridamus.
of course, I mean that's how I think.
Afridamus, we just have to be honest, man.
Zongo,
Afridamus, we
Zongo,
have to be honest.
Zongo, you
Yeah,
came
in
to
Nilotic,
Zongo.
Jupa, you need
I'm
to calm
scared of
down,
you,
bro.
but Zongo, by the time you 15 years in, you will become a full blown white supremacist.
No,
The way you're
oh,
going.
no, but Afadamus, hold on, Afadamus. If I was holding a position of power, I would think that way. But now I'm within the country. I'm trying to be objective, like seeing the two-state solution. But if I'm holding power, I'm going to think that way. I want it that way, actually. If you ask me.
Wait, Zonga, I don't even believe in a two-state solution because they're always going to just be
Of
at
course
war
you
with each
don't.
other.
Of course
Okay,
you don't.
let's bring in Mal's perspective. Then we go to Gwe. Mal,
yeah,
Mal, you now your perspective. Why do you not support Israel or Palestine? Like Nialotic was asking, and you wanted
yeah,
to ask South Sudanese something as well.
exactly. This is what I just wanted to bring these things. South Sudan was oppressed by who? The Arabs. Simple question. Okay, they fight them, they took their lands, they enslaved them, and here this man is here
Wait, no,
trying to
those
defend the
people aren't
Arabs.
Arabs. They're fake Arabs. They're
Oh,
Arabs.
oh,
They're black people who mixed with Arabs,
okay,
pretending to
okay,
be Arabs.
okay, no problem. They are fake Arabs. Go to Mali right now. Go to Mali right now. Who are they fighting? These people are trying to take the Malians' land. Kidal just last week, the Kidal fell, and the leader of the rebellion, the rebellion ran away to where? To Algeria, and eventually to Saudi Arabia. You
Wait,
understand?
Mal, do
So
you know who we were actually fighting? We were also fighting the Darfurians who came from West
no,
Africa too.
but no, Darfur. You are not fighting the Darfurians. The
Yeah,
Darfurians. There
we were
was
fighting
gem.
them.
No, wait,
They were
wait.
fighting
Let
us
me
in the
tell you.
Civil War.
There is gem in Darfur, and there is SLA in Darfur, and there is SLA in the south. You know that very well. And
No,
these
no,
Darfurians are still
the
fighting for their
Darfurians,
independence.
the
Their
Darfurians were
lands has been
fighting the
taken by the
Nilotics
Arabs.
because
Wait, the Darfurians, you said they're from West Africa?
yeah, they have some Darfurians who came from Central and West Africa who were fighting the Nilotics on the side of the fake Arabs.
My
What do
friend,
you
let me
mean
tell
fake?
you,
You
the
mean real
Darfurians
Arabs?
are the same like you people. What are you talking about? What ethnic group do you have in Darfur that is not in South Sudan? Tell me.
Darfurians are not Nilotic. South Sudanese are Nilotic. We're different people.
Okay, so you guys are fighting together with the Darfurians to gain independence. You
No,
guys
no,
were
no.
just lucky
The
to get
Darfurians were
it
fighting
because
us.
let me tell you, the Darfurians are Muslims and you are not Muslims. That's the only difference. You
Yeah, that's why
understand?
they were fighting
Yeah,
us. That's why they were aligned
exactly.
with the
No,
fake
they were
Arabs.
not fighting you. They were not fighting you because Darfurians were also oppressed by the same Muslims
My friend,
they claim to be their masters.
my friend.
And this is why when they were fighting at the same time, you were also fighting.
My
Therefore, the
friend,
gem in Darfur, the gem in Darfur and the SLA in Darfur are not, equipped enough to fight off the Arab
my
invasion.
friend,
But
do you
you
see my
guys
name
were
there? It
lucky.
says South Sudanese warrior, right? I'm South Sudanese. I have people who died in the Civil War. They were aligned
Yes.
with the North Sudanese government because they made it Muslims versus Christians. The
Okay,
Darfurians
so
were
now
fighting
what
us.
is the Darfurians fighting about now then? Let me ask you that question. What are they fighting about? Because before you
Well,
gain
I'll tell you
independence,
what they're
Darfurians
fighting
they are
now.
fighting for independence.
Because the fake Arabs don't have any use for them anymore.
Oh, okay. So you see how the Arabs can use people, and now you are supporting them there.
Right.
You understand? So you've been
No,
foolish
I'm
now.
I'm not support. I don't
You
believe that
understand?
the fake Arabs in
How to call
Sudan
it?
have any
They
connection
are
with
not
the
fake Arabs. Let
Palestinians.
me tell you. The problem is they are mixed breed Arabs who are in North Sudan who feel that they are kind of more Arab than the other people because the Darfurians are Muslims.
Mal,
As you
they're
said,
not even mixed.
let,
They're fully black people.
let me learn. Let me
They're as
learn.
black
You
as
know,
me.
I've been in Darfur for almost 5 years, almost 3 to 4 years to 5 years. I know that region very well. You understand? So this is what I'm telling you. The GEM and the SLA were fighting the same time. Your SLA in South Sudan were fighting against your enslavers because those people were enslaving you people. You know that very well. And up to now, they are enslaving Darfurians. And those people who are doing that, they are not pure Arabs like you can see, like white Arabs. No, they are mixed breed Arabs. They call them Janjaweed. And those are the people doing that. You know that very
Yeah,
well.
so
So now,
we fought for our freedom, and now we have our freedom. Now Darfur has
exactly.
to.
Now you need to help the Darfurians also to gain
No,
their freedom.
we don't.
Okay, so
We don't have to
Mal,
help them.
what's your support
Can we move
for?
to the next one?
Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mal, I
So
think
my support,
let's not
Affidavits,
let's
you know
not
what,
let's
Mal?
not let's not get off
okay,
the
let's not
topic.
do that.
Yes,
Let's
Okay,
move
now
to
Affidavits, but
let's
what
talk
Mal was
about
trying
this
to,
thing.
yeah, Mal, what Mal was trying to ask the guy is, when you, as the South Sudanese, were fighting for your freedom against the Arabs that were oppressing you, did the
They're not
Palestinian ever
Arabs.
try? Did
They're just
did he
people who
ever
speak
give you a
Arabic.
hand? Okay, bro, did he ever give you a hand? Did the
Never,
Palestinian ever try and help you? Did he ever speak up for you? No, he wouldn't even
never.
spit in your direction.
This is
But
what
here
I'm
you
saying.
are
African
trying to
mentality
bully
is
cap for
very,
the
Actually,
Palestinian.
we
it's
actually even had Greeks.
crazy.
We even had Greeks who were fighting on our side too, because we had Greeks in South Sudan who were
Bro,
fighting with
we're talking
SPLM.
about Palestinians.
No,
What did the
man, come on, man,
Palestinians do for
stop it,
you?
man. See,
My
South
friend,
Sudanese.
okay,
Hold on,
let me tell you, Nilotic, no Arab in
hold,
the world came together to support the South Sudanese cause. No Arab in this
hold on,
world
Mal.
who put banners up to support South Sudanese independence because they were happy that they were oppressed. You
Hold on,
understand?
Mal. Hold
And
on,
we,
Mal. Hold on, Mal. Let me tell you one scenario. See, when I was in Turkey as a Muslim, I was in a Muslim organization with different kind of Arab Muslims. I've seen all kind of them. I can distinguish between them, right? And usually, when the Palestinian situation came first, everybody's united. But I was there at a time where the Boko Haram issue came, and even in the mosques, nobody prayed for them. The Muslims in those regions in northern Nigeria. I'm like, damn. And I started to reflect upon like these things, as an African in that
no, you know
region.
what? You know why I remove myself from this? Just look at Mali. Our people are dying there. Who are they fighting against? This guy, they just took Kidal last week. This guy just took Kidal, and which is part of part of Mali. And these people who they are fighting, they are the Arab people, mixed breed Arab people. He ran away to Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia did not condemn that man up to today. So why will I, as a black man with my origins from Mali, to support these people cause? No, I will not do that. Let them support my cause, and then I will support their cause. Simple.
You know what, Mal? That's fair. That's a fair stance for
Yeah.
you to have.
So
But
Mal, you support Israel. That's your point.
At this point in time, people who conquered their land, just like the USA, the white people came here, they conquered the land, they live here, they make all of our lives better. Okay? And these people also, they were sent out of their land, they went abroad, they mixed with the white people, they become white people, they came back and take over. You understand? Militarily. If they want to take them out, let the Arab people, how many countries?
so
They are afraid they cannot even fight of one country. You understand? So why will I support those people? Just talking. They just talk, they cannot do nothing. Period.
All
but
right.
Mal, the Israelis won't do anything different than the Arabs. They're exactly the same with their mentality.
Yeah,
Who cares, bro?
but who cares about that?
Afidamas, can
No,
you
I'm
just ask this
saying,
guy a question? Can
yeah.
can the South Sudanese guy just answer our question? Can you show us one Palestinian
who was willing to side with you when you were fighting against the North
and then
Sudanese,
you show me
who
one
they
Israeli
consider
that was
Man,
Arabs?
they
willing to
don't even
side
Why
think
with you.
were
about
they?
you. They don't think about you, man. Trust
Exactly,
me.
As
bro.
the
If it was
Israelis
It's not
don't
according
even
to
think
the
that
about me
no
either. So
conversation.
If
as
it
a
was
human
according
being,
to the
I'm allowed to have my
Palestinians,
opinion.
you would still be a slave to the North Arabs, to the
you.
North Sudanese
Wait,
Arabs
no,
today, bro.
Nilotic junta, shut the hell up. They didn't support us, and we still got our freedom. We didn't need anybody. They even were
Bro,
sending
I'm saying, why would you support
Egyptians.
someone that wouldn't
They were
support
sending
you, bro?
Egyptians and
We're asking you a
Saudis
question.
and
Why would you
Libyans with
support
their
someone that
aircraft,
wouldn't
and we
support
shot
you?
down their aircraft. What the hell are you talking about?
Okay, bro, why would you support someone that wouldn't support you? Does
I
that
really,
make logical sense to you?
I know. I think the thing is that it's not about just supporting. You
Nilotic,
can.
the Israelis wouldn't support me either. Why can't you get that through your fucking skull?
I mean, the point
Bro,
I'm.
you are being oppressed by the same people you
No,
call
I'm not. The
you're trying to
Sudanese
stand up
Arabs
for now.
are different from the Palestinian Arabs.
Oh my
They're not
God,
the
bro,
same
they
people.
still consider themselves Arabs.
All right,
Afidamas, this is crazy.
Yeah. So
They're not the
wait.
same people.
Okay,
I'm
let's
not
go
that
to Gwe.
narrow-minded.
Let's go to Gwe. Gwe.
yeah.
Gwe, I know you say you support Israel, and why?
Yes, I do. I got a couple of reasons, but one of my reasons is religiously is one of them. I
That's
do,
oh,
I
you know,
knew, Gwe. I
wait,
religiously is one of my.
wait.
Guys, you guys can even let Gwe finish. You guys
I
are going.
just
Let the woman just speak. Let her speak.
And another one is I like to be on winning teams. I don't like to be on losing teams.
Yeah.
So you Africans are listening. None of you better not ever take up no fight with a bigger opponent.
I want to hear
Gwe is
Tunisia.
letting you know. Go ahead.
The
Yeah, we'll get
Tunisia's
to
the voice of
Niger.
reason.
Yeah, go ahead, Gwe.
You
But
know,
I love her honesty though. I love her
um,
honesty.
that's another thing.
yeah, at least she
I wouldn't,
honest.
to be honest with you, I would not want to live under any Muslim religion or culture or anything. I feel like they have done a lot of damage around parts of Africa. So that would be another thing. And I think that the good, because people said they're good and bad. So I feel like you don't never hear from the good Muslims. When the bad Muslims are committing terrorist attack around the world, when they're killing innocent women and children, when they're terrorizing them, the good Muslim doesn't ever stand up against these bad ones to speak out and say anything.
No,
They
we
just
are,
say,
man. We are. I mean, great. You
don't
are
go, you're
speaking
an independent person. So let me
yeah,
finish. You're
you
just an
speaking
independent
to
person.
you
Maybe
speaking to
you
one of
say
them.
stuff, but the
I
group
don't
as
follow
a
the religion
whole,
blindly though.
no,
Right?
the group as a whole doesn't say anything. And I feel like I would rather want to live under or Israeli regime than under a Palestinian regime, to be honest.
Gwe says she would decolonize us. That's right.
Hey
But
man.
it's
Boy,
like,
listen, I'm a Muslim, but I think, can I talk now?
yeah, go ahead, Mimi.
I'm a Muslim, and I mean, I have a Christian background, but still now I'm just trying to be logical over this. I mean, I'm here for humanity. I'm not here for religion or anything. That's why I said Africans, we need to understand and take religion out of this and look
Yeah.
at the humanity side.
Exactly.
Hey,
That's
great.
what we need to
Last
do.
question. Last.
I don't care about the Arabs, to be honest with you, especially when I see my African people that are Muslim trying to stand by the Arabs, and the Arabs don't care. I would rather, to be honest with you, I think even the white people are even better than the Arabs to me, and
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
Hey,
Because
hey.
the
Last
white
question.
people can give you peace in their country, but the Arabs, you go to their country, they treat you like hell. So
Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
care for that. But
hey,
I'm gonna speak facts and
hey, great.
logic in this,
Hey, great.
and
Last question
based on
before.
history.
Hey, before like two Niger chime in. Great. Does you supporting the Israel? Does it fulfill any biblical prophecy in the Bible or something like that?
In a way, it does, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because anybody, the Bible talks about God, Israel, God chosen people, and anybody
Oh,
that go against Israel, will be punished. So
oh, okay.
That's
Wow.
complete
And you believe that?
misinterpretation.
Yeah,
yes, I do.
You
without
believe
context,
that?
right?
So do I
Yes,
have
I
to
do.
believe everything that
Well,
the Quran says? That if somebody takes something from you, you have to cut their
Yeah, but
hands?
the Quran is man-made.
No,
You know,
the Bible is
Muhammad
man
man.
made. The
oh no,
Quran is
hold
not man made.
on, guys,
That's why
guys. We
that's why
will do
I said
another
let's take
topic. We'll
religion
go.
out of this.
Hold on, guys. We'll do another topic on that. Let's allow Two Niger
The
to.
Christians
Yeah, but
have
before I
to
let
be
Tunai
so
just
like bold to
speak with
correct
this
them.
Nigerian
My
accent, I
my
just want to
comments are
say
not
it's
personal.
ridiculous to compare the so-called Arabs of
Do you
Sudan
know how many
with the Arabs
testaments
of
the Bible
Palestine.
has? 100
Hey,
testament. Quran is just one book. And
hey,
like I
hey,
said, I don't
please,
even
guys,
care about religion.
please, Two
Okay.
Niger, please chime in, please.
Hold on. Two Niger, are you there?
Yeah, I am. I'm
Two
here.
Niger. Two Niger, does Israel have the right to exist in that region? Are they colonizers or the Arabs are the colonizers? Which one? According to the Israeli prime minister, they said the Arabs are the colonizers. You know, the land, they are the original people of the land. What is your take?
Israel has a right to exist, of course. I consider that conflict the most evil conflict on the face of the earth today.
But what caused the conflict, though?
Because of man's inhumanity to man, isn't it?
Is it because someone colonized someone's land? Oh wait, do you think? Okay, because Two Niger, you got a point there, because we've all heard this 3,000-year stuff. But as far as I know, this conflict started in 1948, right? So, okay, somebody, because the prime minister is saying they are the original people of the land, the Arabs came from neighboring countries, they're immigrants, basically. Don't you think that's ground that causes the conflict to continue?
The Palestinians are descendants of people from that region that have been there for thousands of years. So they are not just like people that just emanated from nowhere. They've been
Well,
there forever.
you better tell that to the prime minister.
And see, the point is that Israel is a reality on the ground. You can't wish them away. The problem is that Israel doesn't want to seem to grant the Palestinians either their freedom or absorb them into their state.
So you support apartheid regime?
I don't. That's exactly what I'm arguing against, because you either free them, let them go and have their own country, or you absorb them into the Israeli state. But because they have to have their Jewish state, so they don't want to absorb them into their territory. And America is enabling them. You see, this is why I consider it one of the most evil conflicts on the face of the earth, because it doesn't have to be like that, because America is just enabling them for their own reasons. America has vetoed for 53 UN resolutions to help to try to get control of that conflict. 53, and America has actually done about 80-something vetoes in the UN resolution, which means more than half of America's vetoes is on behalf of Israel. He has to tell you something, that this is not just normal friendship. This is something else that is going on there.
So you think it's an occupation going on?
America has something to gain from it.
Israel is a proxy state of America. That's
exactly.
obvious.
So America is gaining something from it, because recently Israel is supposed to be having peace talk, a kind of diplomatic. They want to kind of start having diplomatic relationship with Saudi Arabia, and within weeks of them announcing it, this madness starts happening again. And now all that talk completely gone through the region has been set back more than 10 to 20 years in terms of division that is going to occur by the time this conflict is over. This is clear tactics of divide and rule. The same pattern.
Yeah, but don't you think it's a plan to further destabilize them and take up more land?
That's part of it. See, everybody has their own agenda. Even people that are being used also they are being used for a reason, because they too are agreeable to it for their own reason. Like Israelis want more land, which is a sin, really, when you think about it. Because in the end, you've already got a country that you didn't have last century. You have a powerful nation that you didn't have last century, and you just won't let people go. And these people that you don't want to let go, if America wasn't present, could lead to your destruction. I don't understand that, but human beings don't behave like that. Because even the Israelis are captured people themselves. They might like to think that they are just wielding their own power. Without America, they wouldn't be doing all those things that they are doing. And clearly,
Go
ahead.
Tunaja, I agree.
Tunaja, when you say human beings, Tunaja, when you say human beings don't behave like that, can you name me one Middle Eastern country that's an Arab country that gives its minorities rights?
Nilotic Junta, since you like to ask so many questions, can you explain to me why the hell you think Israel would benefit black people, the same country that
Bro,
sterilizes
they will.
Ethiopian women.
Okay, bro. Who gives a shit,
So
bro?
start there.
Those people were oppressed even. Okay, bro. Those falashas were even oppressed people even in Ethiopia. The average Ethiopian wouldn't even eat from the
Oh,
same
no,
plate
no, no,
as
no,
those
no,
people.
no. Just
That's
answer the
okay.
damn
Yes.
question.
Let me
Why do you
finish,
think
bro. Can I
Israel
finish?
would be so beneficial
Okay,
for us?
look. Sometimes there's something called. I'm not saying Israel is your friend, but sometimes when two people share the same enemy, you don't have to be friends. You just have to work with one another and acknowledge one another and keep your distance. What the Israelis are doing for you as sub-Saharan Africans is a blessing because they have kept the Arab world divided and conquerable for so long for you. If it wasn't for the Israelis, the Arab world would be united. And where do you, as a sub-Saharan, think you're going to fall in that? You would be
No,
getting conquered by the
they
Arabs as
wouldn't be
well.
united.
Bro,
It's
just
But
be
only
honest, man.
Iran is the
the
Shia and
Israelis are
Sunnis are
not doing
fighting
it
each
out
other.
of
They're
their
not
own
united.
will. They are not doing it out of their own will. It is being
Who cares?
enabled by Americans. But I get your point. So hold on.
If something someone does out of whether it's out of their will or not, if it still indirectly benefits you, should you stop that person from continuing on that thing they're doing? It's still, I'm
But
telling
it's
you,
also good to
whether
understand
they're
why
doing
they are
it for
doing it,
you.
though. Because it could
Okay,
change any moment if you don't know why they are doing it.
To Niger, we talked about that. Look, Afridamus, when I first came on here, even I told you the Israeli president is lying, and I told you the history of Palestine and everything. Historically, the Palestinians are right, but for my own self-interest as a sub-Saharan African, and especially as an Ethiopian who lives surrounded by Muslim nations, I will support Israel no matter what, bro.
Nilotic Junta,
Because them
but
keeping the
Nilotic
Arab
Junta,
world divided
your
is in my
premise is
best
false,
interest, bro.
though. Your
Oh
entire
my God,
premise is
bro.
false.
Israel is not keeping the Arab world divided. Israel is looking to have peace with them. The only problem they have is the Americans encourage them to keep the Arab world divided.
Nilotic Junta, even without Israel,
Yes,
the Arab
then I
world would
support the
still be
Americans
divided.
in what they're doing in the Middle East through Israel, which just means then I support Israel. To Niger, what's the point?
Fair point. If that's how you
I
believe that,
support
because
what the
that's exactly
Americans
what
are
I'm.
doing
but
using Israel.
Good. Now you are looking at it from the right context. From that point of view, you can argue that yes, for Africans, it may not be a bad thing
To Niger,
necessarily.
how long have you complained that the North Africans and the Muslim Africans in the Sahel are trying to invade you in the sub-Saharan African region and the non-Muslim Africans? Bro, Israel is doing you a favor. Look at the way Israel is even placed
How
in the
is Israel
continent.
preventing that?
It literally divides North Africa.
You have to look at it from the two lenses. One is the lens of being a human being that is part of the world. In other
To
words,
Niger, there's no such thing as a
hold on,
human being, bro.
let me finish the point I'm making. The point I'm trying to make is that when there is an international order that people are supposed to follow in order to have a stable distant world, Israel represents it's a symbol of the breakdown of that order, because UN resolutions after UN resolutions keeps failing because of what Israel is doing there, or what America is enabling them to do. So
to Niger,
that's
I
what it
just want to
represents to
address.
me. That's why I consider it
You
bad.
see, bro, I don't understand.
I get where you're
What is
coming
wrong with you?
from.
To Niger,
No, hold on. Now
look, let me
just finish
there's
my
no such
point.
thing as
You can
international
go ahead
order.
and talk when I finish my point. But I get your point that while they are having their own problems, he also kind of offers us room to space for us to actually move forward. Because if they are strong, somebody said it earlier on, they could turn in our direction. As a matter of fact, they've proven to do that
Niger,
before when they invaded
it's not
Sudan.
they could turn in our direction. They will turn in our direction, bro. It's inevitable. If the Arab world unites, we are fucked. So it's in our interest
Now,
that
tell
Israel
him that they are
divides
already
the
in
Arab
our
world.
direction. How to call
In a
to
way,
Niger?
sadly, it
To
is
Niger.
in a way.
To Niger,
Let
do
me
you want?
explain this to you.
Can I tell you why
Okay,
I
so
reject that premise? Because
this guy,
but can I say something though? But I mean when I was raised as a Muslim, I used to think like, hey, everybody got to be under the banner of Islam, though, you know. But I didn't know I was extreme in that way of thinking because I was raised thinking that way.
no, it's because if you don't have the how to call it, the experience, you will tend to support more of blind support. Because now, let me give you
Exactly.
this example: the people in northern, how to call it, northern Nigeria are being terrorized by Muslims. You understand? But do you see any Muslim country who stand against those people to tell them that you are killing Muslims? In Mali, the same thing. The Tuaregs and the Arabs from the Berbers from the north. What are they doing there? They are trying to carve their own country, take people's territory, add it because the Arabs send them down because they cannot fight off the Arabs. Now they want to fight off the black people in Mali, protect their land. And just recently, they took Mali was able to fight with the help of Russia to take those lands. And Mali is 97% Muslim. So who are they fighting against? So now, if they unite, they don't care whether you are a Muslim. They don't care whether you are a Muslim or not. What they will do is they will come and take your land. In Darfur, the same thing is happening. In Darfur, there are Muslims there. These Arab people who are mixed breed Arabs, they can you know the South Sudanese know what I'm trying to say. Those people are the ones fighting the Muslim black people to take their land from them. So who is
my
the
question to African Muslims is, when are you going to renounce Islam?
No, I'm
exactly.
not renouncing Islam.
They will never. Okay, they will never. Let's not go there. Let's not make it a religious debate. Let's not make it a religious debate. But
no, it's not
Mal, let me just ask you. Let me just ask you a question. To Niger, wait, can I ask you guys on the panel this question? Because I feel like some idiots in the comment section don't understand what I'm trying to say. If the Arab world was strong and united, as the Arabs wish they were, do you think South Sudan would have ever been able to fight and gain their independence from North Sudan?
Can I answer that question?
Because the South Sudanese fought, they would have been annihilated by a united Muslim Arab state. So there was no way. To Niger, we have to be honest with ourselves, man. Politics is Machiavellianism.
You can't run away from that. That is the truth. They will come towards the south and they will take advantage. Look at, even without that, look at
tomorrow it will be the South Sudanese.
As the only South Sudanese.
Can I just finish my point? See,
okay, yes. Let the South Sudanese guy answer. But just because you're South Sudanese doesn't. Yes. Answer. You think you would wait, Tunaja, let the South Sudanese guy answer. You think you would have been able to gain your independence fighting a strong, united Arab force? So everyone.
You want me to tell you why?
Oh my God!
We already did that. They had the Egyptians, the Libyans, and the Saudis on their side,
bro. Okay, now think about that, but times 10, because you'll be fighting all the way from Morocco.
And then let me add
you'll be fighting the Moroccans,
element.
the Libyans, the Tunisians, the Algerians, all of these guys united. Imagine that. How long you struggled for,
man.
Bro? You'll still be struggling until now.
Let me
2023, you'll still be fighting.
Although they won't be able to do it in reality, even if
wait. To
unity, they won't be able to do it in reality.
You need to calm down. Wait, I just want to make a point here. Another element you're missing there, Nilotic Junta, is the oil element. Do you know that a big part of the reason why we even succeeded was because of the backing we had from America? Because America wanted to use us as
the American Christians
because they wanted to take control of our oil resources. That's also another element you're leaving out there too.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, guys, bro, just think about it.
That's why I said
we have to be honest with ourselves, man. The fact that the Muslim world is divided has been a blessing for us, an indirect blessing for sub-Saharan Africans. Because if they ever united, it will be our ass next. So it is in our interest. Whatever is destabilizing the Arab world is in our favor.
Well, I'm not sure we should be looking at it like that, but if it happens, yes.
I don't think they'll be united now, because now I don't think they'll be.
You do have a point.
Yeah,
Nalotic, what I'm trying to say is let the Muslims unite. If the Muslims unite, I don't have no problem with that. But if the Arab people unite, it's a problem, because why? They don't care whether you are a Muslim or not. The people who are doing atrocities in Africa right now, they are Arab people. It's different two things. No, it's Muslim. If Muslims unite because they don't consider color of your skin or whatsoever, then that is fine.
Never united.
Okay.
I don't know where you got that one. Muslims will never unite because every nation fights for their own interests.
Let me tell you one thing, Tunaja guys. See, when I was in Turkey, even when the Syrian revolution started, right? I've been in a situation whereby I've seen a lot of Muslims from other countries, from even UK and other places, going to Syria. This is a Syrian conflict, but they use the banner of Islam to attract maybe jihadists to go there to go and fight.
That was happening even in America.
Yeah, so they can really do that.
That,
Actually,
that's on
I
a
actually saw
lower
that. Actually.
scale. That is normally on a lower scale. That is not the nations themselves joining hands. The nations never do join hands. Was it not the Moroccan this thing kingdom that destroyed the
Why
Solar
are you guys
Empire?
acting like if the
So
Arabs invaded Africa, the African Muslims wouldn't be their allies? Why are we pretending
They
that that
would.
wouldn't happen?
they will. They
They
will.
will be the allies. They will be the allies.
They will be ready one, and this is an issue with what
But
I find
Zongo,
with the
when it
way
comes,
Muslims allow themselves to be used by outsiders. I don't really get it. They just support the Arabic people just because they are Muslims. You don't. I don't see where the Islam says that they should bring the Emir title or Sultan title to any other nation, but
No,
they will
no,
bring it to
me,
your nations.
Yeah,
But
but
me
the
now.
Quran didn't say that. The Quran just said go and preach this thing. Quran didn't say go and
For me,
Arabize people.
for me, I
yeah, but
have the
No, let's
difference
say
now. The
The
difference
Quran.
between Muslim and
No,
Arab.
hold
You
on.
have to
Let
make
me
that
ask the
distinction.
Muslims here. Let me ask the Muslims. Did the Quran say anything about Arabization?
Not,
no,
no.
So
no.
yeah, but yeah, that's
Yes,
what we
yes,
get.
yes,
Oh, you
No,
see,
Islam talk about
yes. No,
Muslims
hold on, hold
united.
on, hold on, hold on. I don't want to get into this, but I've said this before. They don't have to openly come and say, yes, it's Arabized. If you, in the day of judgment, the only language you're going to speak in the
is it
Muslim
Arabic?
heaven
It's Arabic. Yes.
is Arabic. You have to pray in Arabic. You know, like your black ass can't enter. They gotta change you to Arab. You know,
Hey,
your name,
Afdamas. Hey,
your name
Afdamas.
gotta be Mahmoud Mukhtar. You know, like I'm just
You
saying.
gotta speak
My
Junubian.
I mean, come on, guys. Even in the grave, when
Hey,
you die, when the angel comes, they're gonna talk to you in
he's going
Arab.
to
So
speak to you in Arabic.
if
exactly
you
right.
don't know it, so let's say your ask, because I know people where I come from. They pray, but they don't know nothing about the book. They don't know the language. So they've been praying, right?
People
So
like
they're gonna die, and the first day that angel is gonna come, is gonna speak in Arabic. Now here we go. You're gonna respond in your
In
in
French.
your mumbo jumbo black African language. Now you know where your ass is going.
Yeah,
To
but let me.
Niger.
You're not about to see no
Alpha
rivers of milk, no
you
rivers
talking to
of
me?
wine.
You're not
You
going to
know,
see
Are you
Hold on,
73
guys.
talking to
virgins
me?
or something.
yes.
Hold on, guys.
That's why. Here's the thing. I'm on the safe side. I made sure from childhood I memorized that in case the angel comes. Man,
to
I
Niger.
memorized that part. Man
To Niger.
Rabuka.
Marabuka,
That's right. Man
Marabuka, Allah.
Ismuka. Man
To Niger.
Dinuka.
To
Huh?
Niger.
Man
Just look at.
Nabiuka.
No, let me respond to Two Niger about the
That
situation in
is
northern
so funny.
Nigeria. Two Niger, see, like I also like come from the, part of my, lineage also come from the Hausa group, right?
yep.
But our tribe has been Arabized that we've even lost our identity. I've been trying to look for our
Yeah.
original identity. They call them the Maguzawa. It's
Yeah.
not there, man.
It's a serious matter because even in Nigeria,
Yeah.
when you look at the chieftaincy titles, they turned it to Arabic ones. When you look at the southern part where that was a
They
kind
call
of
them Sultan, right?
yeah, Sultan
You see?
emirs and all
You
kinds of
see? That's Arabized.
it's not Arabization has not reached Nigeria
To
yet. Don't
Niger.
worry.
Just look at.
They are coming through Sudan. It's not true. It's not up to Nigeria yet, but they do have some of them. And when I speak to a northern Nigerian,
So
he
Tunaya,
said
why
that
don't you just say you support Israel and stop beating around the bush?
Exactly. Tunaja,
no. I'm
look,
not
it's
support.
in
No,
your
see,
interest to
I
support
can't.
Israel.
You see,
No. I
like
can't
what?
support that. No, I can't support that. You
Uh,
can't
Wait,
say
uh,
something
to
wrong
Niger. Can you
and just say
hear
you
me?
support
To
the job
Niger.
because it's in your interest. Eh?
To Niger. Can you hear me?
Tunaya, but Tunaya, okay, fine, I get it. I don't support them, but now you want to go and explain all these things of all the undesirable things
Uh,
and who?
As a
Afidamos, you know
human
why?
being,
Hold
Afidamos,
as a human being, I
Afidamos,
can't
you know
support
why he
that.
can't.
But
You know why
as
he can't say he supports
mic check.
Israel? It's because
Why?
he likes to think of himself as a he. Tunisia likes to think of himself as a humanist and as like a,
yes,
someone who's on a moral
Uh,
pedestal. So
mic
if he
check.
says he
Can you hear
overtly
me?
supports Israel,
no.
then he can't come and say,
Uh,
"Oh, you are oppressing black people
I don't
somewhere
think
else"
y'all
or
can
stuff
hear
like
me.
that. Oh,
Ah,
Afidamos, I don't care.
No,
Tunisia wants to keep his moral high ground, so he can't say he supports Israel.
See,
but Tunai,
morality has a reason, you know. Morality also establishes stability, especially those people are the ones that are going to inherit the world. Goodness, if they are not going to inherit the world, we people like us
Tunisia,
are going
goodness
to
has
destroy
never
the
won
world.
any war, man.
Hold on, it's not about
Tunisia,
goodness.
name
I
me,
just
name me
said
one war goodness has ever won.
it's an exclamation. I used it. I didn't use it as a word. See, those people have to be the ones to inherit the world, because if you don't have people that are willing to
Oh
work
my God, this guy.
along between groups, we are doomed. We are going to fight each other and kill each other before long. You see what I mean?
Tunisia, name me one empire. Name me one empire that was built on goodness and not conquest.
Yo,
But
mic check.
I
Can you
get
guys hear
what you
me?
are saying from that point. But what I'm saying is that if you see something bad happening, you
Damn.
can't just say I support it because it's on my side.
But
Yes, that's how the world works. Tunisia, I literally showed you the
I think
Palestinians
my mic
who
is
would probably support the North Sudanese over the South Sudanese because they consider themselves both to be Arabs. Whether it's real or not, they still consider themselves both. I'm just showing you hardcore
See,
examples.
I
Tunisia.
understand how you are reasoning. If I analyze it coldly, yes, it's in our interest that they are divided. But it's also wrong, because remember, according to
I
when
don't
you think
care.
something bad is happening somewhere, it's not going to come back to you. It's going to come to you. It might not arrive now. It
Tunisia,
will arrive to
it
you
has
too.
already happened to you. Look at your continent, bro.
I get that part of
Look at
it.
your
I get
country.
that. See, why
Half
do you
your
think
country
I'm
is
making
Muslim.
saying
How
it?
do you think those people became Muslims?
Oh, guys, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Rasmois, thank you for the super chat. Rasmois said, even the Maguzawa clan, Arabai, Zongo, thank you for the super chat. Guys, please hit the like. Oh, and Audrey, shout out to Audrey. Audrey, thank you for the PayPal. I saw your PayPal. Thank you so much. And guys, please don't feel free to hit the like. And guys, let's start saying our last statements and wrap it up. You know, so let's start with Nilotic and we walk our way. Nilotic.
He asked a question, man. He paid you money.
Oh, okay, go ahead. What question?
I mean, even the Maguzawa, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they are, because a lot of like the modern day Hausa people, they look down on their own people. Unfortunately, after they embrace the religion of Islam, I used to
Damn.
think that way. I used to think that way until I started to look at things differently. I'm like, damn, this is our ancestors. Why are we looking down upon them? So I've been
Yeah,
trying
that's
really hard. I've been trying really hard.
Look, I'll just tell you one time I asked a preacher, right? Because I used to ask questions a lot and I get in trouble. I ask this, and Africans, I don't know, there's something about African, when it comes to our own African, they have no problem, giving down the judgment of God. So about especially our ancestors, I say, what about ancestors who were not Muslims? Are we gonna see them in Muslim heaven? He said, oh well, they might be there, but they are gonna be our slaves there. Imagine enslaving your great grandpa.
Afridamus, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yes. Like
Okay.
he's like so I said, what about our African ancestors who were not Muslim?
Both
He said,
Muslims and Christians, they love putting their
so our ancestors are not going in
down
heaven.
because
They're
of
not,
religion.
even if they make it there, they're gonna be our slaves. So
They're
be
gonna be
ready.
your slaves.
Yeah, so be ready to be a white colonizer, colonizing your own ancestor.
And after
You
that
guys
must
are some
see,
loud ass Africans,
after that,
man. I had to get a new mic because you guys couldn't hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Rasmois, see, I've been trying as much as possible to even find a typical Hausa names, original, authentic. It's hard to find it.
But
All of it.
Zongo, in South Sudan, 30% of the population, they
Mm-hmm.
still believe in their tribal religions and such.
Okay,
That's
guys,
a good thing.
let's do the closing. Nilotic, you go first. Go ahead.
Yes, Tunisia. Aphrodamus, like I was saying in my closing statement, the Palestinians are in the moral right. They have the historical claim to the land. We just heard the Israeli president Netanyahu just babbling on and on. Even his lies didn't make any coherent sense. His one lie would contradict his second lie, and his second lie would contradict his third lie. And yeah, obviously, like when you look at it logically, when you look at it on paper, the Palestinians are on the right. But for me, as a sub-Saharan African, I am on the side of Israel because Israel is doing the work that will indirectly benefit the rest of sub-Saharan Africa. So for me, Palestinians are in the moral right, but I will support the Israelis because they benefit me in the long term. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's bring in Mal. Mal, go ahead, Mal. Mal, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead. Mal, go ahead, give your statement.
Yep, I'm here. Okay. Oh, Afidamus. Okay. So what I was trying to say is rule for one is rule for all. One thing about is I am a Muslim. I'm a devoted Muslim. I am a practicing Muslim. One. Let it be very clear. Let's not miss that point. But the fact is very clear. Okay. If you want to promote Arabization, I disagree with that totally. Because if you how to call it, you instigate Arab people who are white Arabs who are coming down to Africa, instigating our own mixed breed kids to fight against our own people. That one I will not tolerate, and I will fight. Or any Arab who does that, just like what is happening in Mali right now. Look at Chad. They are Bazoum president. They are minority Arabs. They want to kidnap that country and sell it to the foreigners. That is not right. Look at Sudan. Sudan, what happened is the mixed breed Arabs are fighting the black people in Darfur up to today. The guy who is from South Sudan, he was in coalition with the Darfurians because they all have the same SLA name. You understand? The SLA,
We weren't in
Sudanese Liberation,
coalition with them.
yeah, the Sudanese Liberation Army. This is and the JAM rebel factions. Those are the people fighting. I meet with the general of how to call it of Darfur. They call him General Sadiq. That's the rebel leader of JAM. You understand? So because he was shot and he was brought to our camp for treatment. You understand? And because of that, the Janjaweed wanted to kill us because they said we harbored their target. So you see now, the problem is in Africa is one thing, we will have problems, but we are Muslims. The Arab people will not, put their flags up to sympathize with us, to say that, oh, what these Muslims people or these Arab people who are, part of us, at least, because most of their leaders will be pure blonded Arab people. It's just the recruit, the boys who do the dirty work will be the mixed breed kids. You understand? So after these mixed breed kids do their job, what they will do is they will kick those people also out. This is how the Arab operate. If you are not smart, you will just go with the flow, and it will fool you. At the end of the day, you will be a Muslim, but you will be a Muslim slave under the Arab. That one I will never accept. You understand? Yeah.
So that's why
So
you're not supporting
this
that.
is why the Palestinian issue, I am how to call it, because the Arabs did not stand for Africa. Muslims who are suffering the same fate these people are suffering. I will want to stand with Israel because Israel, even though they are doing, some of the things they are doing, I don't agree with them, but people conquer lands and take over lands from people, just like the United States. People come, they conquer the lands. Even in our kingdoms during those days, if you are a powerful kingdom, you take over the kingdom, you assimilate people, or you cast them away. That's simple as that. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Man, if I had just woke up from taking a nap, I would have thought Idi Amin was talking, but we're still on.
Idi Amin is from my tribe.
Oh boy. What's going on?
The only reason why he's not supporting Palestine is because of oh my God.
Okay, South Sudanese closing statement. Go ahead, South Sudanese.
Okay, thank you. Man, you guys are some loud ass Africans. I had to get a new mic so you guys could hear me.
Yeah, you gotta get your mic game up when you're coming up here.
But yeah, so just my closing statements.
South Sudanese, where do you come from, though?
Where am I coming from?
Yeah.
Like, you mean where I'm talking from right now?
I mean, like, where are you from? South Sudan?
Yeah, I'm from South Sudan.
Oh, okay.
But now I'm living in Seattle.
Oh, in Seattle. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'll be heading to Seattle this night, though.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So my closing.
From where?
Who are you talking to?
From DuPont, man. I stay in DuPont now.
Oh, okay. Nice. So my closing statements. Okay, just to bring it back to the Israel and Palestine thing, Nilotic Junta, he said it. The Palestinians, they have the moral right. So that is why I am on the Palestinian side. It's just that simple for me. And the final remark I want to make is I think that it is asinine to compare the Sudanese Arabs to the Palestinian Arabs. Those are two different people. The Sudanese Arabs are just black people who adopted Arabic, and the Palestinians are actual Arabs. And that would be like me saying that the Nigerians are the same people as Botswanans or something. They're completely different people. They don't even speak the same dialect as Arabic. So I think that was a mute point that he made. Anyway, that's my closing remark. You guys have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
All right, go ahead, Gue.
All I'm gonna say is, I mean, I stand with Israel. I think Israel belongs there, and I think that Israel needs to defend itself if is attacked. I understand the atrocity in Gaza also from the people in Palestine. I don't think that's good to see. You know, any type of. I mean, I lived through war, so I understand what that looked like, and I hope that they will come to peace one day. You know, but great show, Epidamis.
Hey, Gwe,
Yeah.
are you still looking at it from a religious perspective or from a more power perspective, though?
Zongo, I don't think you've been listening to Gue all night long.
No, I have a
No.
religious part, but I also have a human part towards it because, like, you know, I've lived through civil war, you know, or for a long time. So the human part of me also can see and relate to the atrocity that you see in Israel and also what happened in Palestine with the people in Gaza, you know. So like you can also understand that if there will be peace, I would much rather that than for the both people to be fighting, because even though these government are fighting, innocent people are dying, you know, and they are the innocent in all of this atrocity that's going on between both groups of people.
Well, thank you very much, Gue. Thank you.
Epidamis.
All right. And Gue, I checked. Gue, are you subscribed?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
And Mod, can you please check why Gue's messages are not showing? I'll check later too. Thank you, Gue.
Is Mimi a mod?
No, Mimi is not a mod. Why, you trying to accuse Mimi of blocking Gue if she was a mod?
I don't have any problem with Gue. Gue
I
is
know.
always here speaking.
Mimi, you say Afridamus will never what?
Afridamus will never make me a mod.
Why you say that?
I think if that was supposed to be happen, it would happen a long time ago.
Well, people that have beef with other people and
So
show
you
it.
know, me and Afridamus, sometimes we fight, sometimes we
No, not
agree.
with me, but with other. If you fight with other people a lot in the chat,
on the
I say, I make it a fair fight. I leave it so that you don't go. You guys can continue your fight.
I'll block them.
Yeah, exactly. You see, that's why. That's why. I know. Look, Zongo, me and Mimi, we're from Gambia together. Trust me. I know what she would do with that wrench.
Is Mal from that place too? Mal.
I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, she gonna use it on
I'm gonna
her, on
use
her,
the wrench.
on her enemies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't have enemies, but if I don't like what they're saying, I'm gonna use it.
Oh, there we go. Audrey wants that wrench. I think Audrey is fair. She can get the wrench.
Audrey deserves that.
Okay. All right. Mimi, closing statement. Go ahead, Mimi.
Okay, like I said, with me, I'm just seeing from my perspective, I'm looking at this from a humanity point of view. I mean, I'm not looking at it in a religion. I think Africans, we need to take religion out of this. And most people who are on Israel's side or on Palestine side, we go in with religion. Like I said it. I don't care about the Arabs, but let's put logic in this. This is the Palestinian land, and they want their freedom. If anybody, we Africans need to put ourselves in their shoes because we have been oppressed for so long. How do you feel if somebody come to your land and control your everything, just like the apartheid in South Africa, like your food, your electricity, your water? The way people are living in Gaza is not livable. Kids are dying every day. The mainstream media are not showing you what's going through Gaza. You have to go to other people to look at it.
I
and
mean,
it's
Mimi,
terrible.
Mimi, how do you feel Black Americans stealing the Native Indians' identity in America?
Oh boy.
Zongo, what are you talking about?
Oh
They
boy.
didn't steal it. That's just like something that they talk about, but there's no
Oh
such things
boy.
like that. Don't even try to put that things together with this has nothing to do with anything. And Ma will come here and talk about how the Arabs are not aligning with the African Muslim. What does that have to do with this? That has nothing to do with this. Every one of them have their point, but we cannot look at this on that point of view. This is different. The Palestinian people want their peace. This is their land. They have a right to live freely. The Israeli don't have to control their everything. And I do understand how the Arabs are, because they are not scared of dying. They can do like stupid things. I get it. But at
No,
this point, we
they
have to
are
look at
scared
this
of
as
dying. Actually, they
Hold
are.
on, Zongo, let her finish it. If not, we're gonna be here
no,
all night.
Zongo, who will come and bomb you and ready to die? Who do that? Even the white people don't do that. The Israeli don't do that. They are the only people that can do that. And I understand what Nilotic was trying to say, that if they don't have something that distract them, they will come to Africa and distract us. I get it. I get that part. But this has nothing to do with Palestine. This is different. If you see how kids are dying every day, and people in Israel are not dying, they are over there enjoying themselves in their homes. But you go to Gaza, it's like living hell. We have to look at it like that. That's all I gotta say. Free Palestine. I'm not on anybody's side, but Palestine needs to be free.
You
That's it.
see,
Thank
this
you.
is
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Mimi. Thank you. All right, tonight your closing statement.
Yeah, as I said, as
Oh
I
my God.
stated, I
And
consider this.
Tunaja,
Yeah.
Tunaja, can you just shoot it straight? You are here. You say, okay, you don't want to say you with Palestine, you with Israel, but then you start giving all this arbitrary thing that
like I
people
don't
that
mind.
share the ideology with these Palestinians generally what they are doing in Africa. But go ahead.
Because things are not so simple when it's not. Yeah, you can't just simplify stuff just like that. Like I said, the conflict is a catastrophic tragedy on both sides. They are destroying each other, and I consider it the most evil conflict on the face of the earth today that we have. And see, for Africans, you can argue that Arabs being divided is a good thing. But more and more of the people of the world subscribe to the kind of Martin Luther King mindset, whereby judge people according to the content of their character, not about their race, religion, and all the rest of it. And if that wall is to come to fruition, you're not going to. There have to be room for such type of people. So I don't blame anybody that says, okay, Palestinians deserve the right to have freedom, because it's the right thing to do. Even if they arrived in that land with Israel at the same Jews at the same time, they are there. The Jews are there. Why not just allow them to join Israel, or allow them to have their own country? Why just torture them continuously and steal their land, and America aiding them to carry on with all that nonsense? So the whole thing is a mess, and it's a catastrophic. It's a tragedy too for the people, and they are in the middle of a game that is being played by powers of the world without it even knowing it. And the only reason why I'm able to see it is because we have the same problem too. We are being played all the time. Israelis are being played against their Arabic brothers. Technically, they are brothers, but they are fighting each other. So
Who are brothers?
Israelis and the Palestinians, they are technically they are all from the Middle East now, technically. So
Well, these other ones are from Europe.
oops, if you want to look at it like that. But point is that
I
their
mean,
the religion came from there, and they
no,
subscribe to that
but
group.
I
I don't
mean,
know, man. They are
Tunaja,
still Semitic.
Tunaja,
They have
within
a
the
Jewish
Muslim,
gene. They do
Tunaja,
have a
the
Jewish
Muslim
gene.
religion is from Middle East. Um,
I don't know, man. I don't know. They are their own people. They have their own
Yeah, they're
Jewish
from
gene.
the Middle East, but I was gonna say, the African Muslims are not from Middle East, but that depends on who you ask. Because when you ask those houses, they believe they're Arabs. So
Hey, Afidamas. A lot of the Hausa people, even the ignorant ones, when you see them and you ask them, where did they originate from? They're gonna say they originated from Iraq. I swear to God.
Yeah, I've
Seriously.
seen it.
That is so sad. I've
have
spoken to an Hausa guy. He says their beauty standard is an Arabic woman. He didn't know that he was saying that, but by the time he finished describing it, I said, "That's an Arabic woman." He said, "Yes." I said, "You see, that's a problem, and that's something he wasn't able to answer."
So
These
you
are
support
outdated
Israel, I take it.
No, I don't support what Israel is doing as a human being. I don't support it, but strategically, I would say it favors Africa. Why? But I don't support what they are doing.
It favors. So okay. So you are on the same stance with the other people.
And it may be a short-sighted favoring of Africa, but what can I
No,
say?
I
It's
mean,
where I am
Man,
right now.
I don't know. You Africans, man.
I have to,
You Africans. You Africans. I know this.
come
You
on.
guys are becoming very sophisticated in the game of this propaganda thing, but that's fine.
I
You
can't sit
guys.
here and take the side of the side. I just disproportionately killing people.
Tunaja, I don't
Left and
know.
right.
I don't know
I can't.
what books you've been reading or techniques, but
What can
okay.
I say, man?
Well,
It's a terrible tragedy. That's why it's hard to take sides. It's a tragedy for both sides.
Tunaja is sounding like those American politicians. Wow.
Yeah, well, it's a fact. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
What can I say?
Okay, well, thank you, Tunaja. Tunaja is a U.S. politician. All right, Zongo, go ahead. Zongo, closing statement. Zongo, you're lucky Judah was in here.
Yeah, where's Judah, man? How
Well,
about
if he doesn't attend class, he's gonna lose his assistant post. Just
but I mean,
FYI, if you guys see him somewhere spewing some love in some of those chats, let him know. If he doesn't attend, class one more time,
yeah.
he's getting relegated. But go ahead.
I mean, a lot of them are saying this Arabized or this and that. I mean, we're already in some shape or form in Africa. I mean, a huge section of us are Arabized. The other section has been, Christianized. It's the same thing. You can't just say that because, like they speak Arabic and that you speak English and you have their own mentality and stuff like that. It's the same. It's no different from that, right? So, I mean, I just hope that we just have our own, thoughts that we can
Zongo, can you
impose.
just say you support Israel instead of,
No,
giving
no,
us this spiel?
no. Honestly, Afrinam, if you ask me personally, I just want peace to for them to reach an agreement, right?
But
That
how can they?
I mean, I can't decide for them, right? Because I mean, they have to sit, get to the negotiating table and decide on something, right? I want the conflict to stop, but you know, it's just hard, But I mean, I don't know what to say if you ask me, Afrodamus, man. But I mean, for my focus primarily is from the region where I come from, and I hope that we become very wise and understand this international politics and up our game up. That's really my primary focus, if you ask
Zongo
me.
said they are already calling for the educated feet for you again.
Oh,
They,
really?
they said it's a Zongo tap dancing. Okay.
Oh, Mimi say, "Oh, I'm scared if they unite." No, I don't think that they are united to that extent. Even in the case of Syria, what happened? A lot of those jihadists, they didn't come from the Arab world. Most of them came from the non-Arabic world. They came because they don't understand the religion quite extensively. If you ask me, they just go and go and kill themselves, believing they're going to go to heaven. But I'm wise now. I don't think from that angle anymore.
So now you're ready to someday see yourself walking in the streets of some Israel, Tel Aviv, going to the mall, enjoying some of that good halal. No, what is it called? Some of that Jewish food over there.
I
Which
mean,
one?
if you ask me personally, right?
Some of that kosher ice cream.
I enjoy freedom, and for me, if you ask me,
No, what I'm saying, so where would you rather be walking on the streets of Tel Aviv with your kosher ice cream, or over there in with your fellow Muslims in
I mean,
the other side, on the other
trust me,
side.
I've never had interest in going to even the Arabic world or even Israel. If you ask me personally,
Oh, okay.
the closest place that I want, like I've ever been to, was in Turkey, and these people, they're not Arabs. They think way different than them. I think that's why they were able to assume the leadership in the Islamic world. But other than that, man, I've never had interest because, especially with a lot of stories that I've heard in Libya, migrants going over there. Nah, man, I've never had interest in going to those places. Though, but
No.
anyway, Afdamis, thank you very much. You had a great show. I love it. But a lot of the stuff that was said from Nilotic, man, I think this is something that's supposed to be said indoors, right? a lot of people,
Well, we are indoors.
a lot of people might probably view it as but that's the reality on the ground, right? Even today, where I reside right now, in American military, they will practice how to you hearing gunshot even
Look, that's the
now.
thing. Here's the thing. It's like they know people are gonna have discussions about this. People are gonna debate it. I mean, it's healthy. That's just what it is. But Zongo, thank you for coming.
Okay, you're welcome.
Alrighty.
Have a good one.
All right, guys. That was Zongo, and guys, that brings us to the end of the show. Beautiful show. Thank you all for coming. I want to thank all the panelists. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. As you guys know, everyone is free to express, how they see things. And, no, it is what it is. It's not about who is right or wrong. As you guys can see, people have taken the side. Some have decided, shown us that they showed us their inner white supremacist colonialist side. Uh, yes, they approve of colonialism. They have no problem with it. They've let us know they are ready to see Israel, win. They want to come over there and enjoy kosher ice cream or, whatever bread. Some, they have their inner white supremacists. They sort of hid it deep down, and they danced around. They start giving excuses, but we know deep down where they stand. So, we know it. Africans, as long as they are not the ones getting colonized, everything is good. But I'll bring another show where, we'll see if they're going to agree on the Africans getting the boot to their neck. I would be bringing that show. All right. And also, guys, good question I'm going to ask here. That's a whole different topic. Are the blacks gentrifying Ghana? I have a topic on that. And at the end of the day, I hope you enjoy this. Please like and subscribe, and go and listen to the rest of the interview with Benjamin Netanyahu. No, it's very interesting, very very interesting interview to say the least. Like someone said here, it doesn't matter. Israel, they got the army, they got the money, they got the backing of all the strong opponents. In fact, they got the backing of America, United States of America. Those of you that are watching me, you, and everybody, did you guys know we are all contributing to buying those bombs and missiles? That's right, we're paying taxes. That's why shout out to Gwe. Gwe is like, look, I pay taxes for this. I'm not going to come here and beat around the bush. I support Israel. I'm a white supremacist. I'm a colonialist. And I'm not ashamed to let you guys hear about it, because that's what it is. It's like, rest of you go to work, you paying the taxes to be sent to go drop those bombs, and you come on here and try to bring your moral background talking about, oh man, they shouldn't drop bombs. Well, you shouldn't be paying for it, right? That's where we are at. So either way, we hope, Benjamin Netanyahu would take it easy. He doesn't, it looks the way they are going. If they continue, they might wipe them all out. And to be honest, we as the world, it don't matter. The Palestinians, I still stand on it. They are humans. They are human beings. they should not be punished for few people, which is Hamas, right? So collective punishment, I thought the world moved past that. But if Israel can get away with it, this is going to happen in other places. Remember that. Remember that. So let's pray for world peace. Hopefully peace reigns over planet Earth. You know, it looks like we in the black section, we are not facing much drama. But don't worry, I will bring the drama that is happening in Ghana one of these days. You know, we look at how the blacks have become gentrifiers. That's right, the black gentrifiers. They went over there, you know, gentrifying, you know, making those Ghanaians look dusty. I mean, yeah, it's sad. It's turning me into an activist, you know. It's turning me into, you know, using those pronouns, you know, demonstrating in the streets with my flyers talking about gentrification is not gentrification is not employment. That's what they used to say here. We'll bring all that. But thank you anyways, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Baby girl love my bop and I like me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Big flex, my swole up, double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like hold up, what's the problem?